have a pint of pear cider in my local pub.
Oh my
Just
goodness.
because it's so hot, and yeah.
Oh, and then your beer is
Have
like
a
lukewarm as well. That'll be.
oh no, it was cold. I insisted on ice in it.
Well, you know what's so cool about this? You know what's so cool about this situation though? It's
What?
it's the it's the fact that that English people need to realize that air conditioners are important.
Yeah, but we
Well,
would
yeah.
only use it for 2 days in a year. Really?
You know what?
Yes,
All we need
that's a
is
lot.
You know what?
Yeah.
Friggin', I learned in Arizona, just because your freaking car runs, that doesn't mean you not put a freaking gallon of water in the trunk.
yeah, but this isn't the US. Have you ever seen
I'm talking about
British
Arizona
weather?
though.
Yeah, have you ever
Like
seen
in
British
case you get
weather?
stranded somewhere, or
No, well, no, because in Arizona, your car has a tendency of overheating because it's hot.
okay.
Okay, and that doesn't apply to everywhere in the United States either. That applies to just Arizona. So, like, it teaches English people that even though it doesn't get hot, you might want to buy at least a small air conditioner that you can sit down next to you so that it cools you off.
Yeah, but they're noisy. They're relatively expensive compared to fans. And
Yeah, I was gonna say, the alternative to an air conditioner is a fan and like a hand mister, where you just like squirt mist
yeah,
into the air in
yeah,
front.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Called swamp coolers in Arizona. They use those too.
Yeah.
They actually can get quite cool.
Now,
Yeah,
I did. I told Mr. Robot before the stream started, I did put notifications out to everybody that if they want to come in and discuss the topics that I posted, that they're welcome to it. We have it live streaming on Rumble, X, Twitch, Kick, and D Live. Now, this one isn't being streamed on YouTube. I figured that we are probably going to get in trouble on the last video that me and Mr. Robot and Sonia and Michael Paul did, but I'm not quite sure which one. So I split them in half.
Saw that.
I split them in half because I know at least one of them is going to get us in trouble. You know what I mean? I just don't know which one. You know what I mean? Because and I know that it wasn't like really to me it didn't seem too controversial, but we did talk about some stuff that may get us in trouble on there off and on. So I don't know. There could be a chance that both of them gets me in trouble, and if it does, then I'm done with YouTube.
Well, once they're done with YouTube, YouTube's still quite useless. It's just acts as a good test.
Well, I mean,
YouTube's been done with us for a long time. So.
Well, see, the thing is I've lost my warnings on my main channel. So now if I get in trouble, it's strike system. So if I get in trouble with 2 of them, that's 2 strikes, and that's bad. That's bad.
I feel like I'm in like primary school again. It was like.
Yeah, I really hate that. I really hate the strike thing. But if you've got a choice of just not posting to YouTube, or you posting to YouTube and getting a strike and maybe getting banned, I know which one I would take.
You know what you should do is just make a trailer for YouTube that points them to Rumble or something.
Yeah. We've talked about this before.
I can actually do that on Rumble. They give me the option to. Where if I want to do the video on Rumble, I can tell them that this is being played on Rumble, and if you want to see it, come to Rumble and watch it.
Make a trailer using a montage of most interesting or funny sort of parts.
Well, I do that actually. I got 15-minute videos going out on the stuff.
But
That
I mean, a main trailer, a singular trailer.
well, I could do a promo.
Yeah, like an exciting one.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
but the thing of it is there's so many cool things that we do. You know what I mean? It's like freaking.
Well, that's why the trailer would be really cool.
Yeah. It's not to say for YouTube, then
I could use that one scene where Karma flashed out her dildo.
that's not safe for YouTube.
I,
Final
That's not
strike.
safe for YouTube.
I think freaking I think that would be freaking. Well, I don't know. I think I might have.
I was more thinking like an Indiana Jones scene with your face on it and like delving into ancient mysteries, politics, blah blah.
No, that's a bit sensationalized.
Well, that's
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 people like
what
sensationalized.
that's what we need to do. Then we need to like have a promo that has both one that's not sensationalized and then another one that is sensationalized, and then like it'll have two different kind of takes on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You'll get the boomers and the young kids.
Well, the young kids are easy, but it's getting the older ones to come in. You know what I mean?
Hang on, is there anything such as are boomers still alive now?
Yeah,
my dad's still alive, so yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah, they are still alive, but they're all more into Facebook and the Facebook games. Like they play
on their phones.
Oh, I don't know. Most boomers
Farmville.
don't really have very much interest in social media.
Maybe
put
we're
'em on-
generalized.
Dude, you put them on Facebook and show them Farmville, okay, and it's over. You will never talk to them again.
I don't know.
And
Probably went through that phase in the 90s.
my dad still
Yeah.
plays that freaking Facebook game where you play pool, and then like
But funny enough, my old man's still a fan of the original Command and Conquer games.
Yeah, we were just talking about it the other day. I want to play that again.
I
actually did purchase the entire set just a couple of months ago.
Bought it? I didn't know you can still buy it.
Yeah.
You can get it on archive.org, you know, for free.
Yeah, it was a Steam purchase.
I had
all the
I had the CD for
you can play on Linux now.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah.
I had the
the
Sun CD where you could play the CDs, and they had two of them, and I lost the red, so I got pissed because I don't like being gold.
You can get it on archive.org as an ISO and just mount it.
Well, I think you can get it for free on Steam now too.
Yeah, it's open source now.
That's the open source engine. You still need the data files.
Oh, you do?
I think you still need the data files, and the data files are
you can download the data files. It's not hard.
There was one thing
I legally though. Not sure about legally.
There was one thing I wanted to robot that I didn't realize we missed out on the last show with Michael Paul. But you said that you had information that you found out about the double slit experiment that debunks it, and you never got around to saying that. So,
well, okay. So, I would just point people to the video because they could explain it a lot better than I can. But the end sort of result, because this girl, she's like a physicist, and she basically redid a form of the double slit experiment, and there's like a thing where like she did it with light, with two light sources, and that kind of proved that light was, or it acted like a wave, and only in certain circumstances you could say it acted like a particle, but it's not. It's more like a packet, and like individual photons, you know. So, but then she couldn't do it as a as a real experiment with electrons, but there's like electrons simulators online, and she did the experiment through there, and it also acted as a wave function. And so the end sort of conclusion was that it was neither a wave nor a particle, but it acted like both in certain circumstances. But
Just to clarify, do you want to just give us a brief explanation of what the double split experiment is?
okay, so the double slit experiment was basically a lot of people reference it these days to say that the universe is a matrix, man, because when they did this experiment, and they they shoot like electrons through two slits in like a metal sheet, I suppose, and then it hits a particle detector at the other end. And when they do that, normally they say that it acts like a wave function because there's an interference pattern on the detector. Because like waves sort of interact with each other, and it creates a wave function. Um, but then they say when you observe like which hole the particle goes through, it acts like a particle. All right, and and physicists postulated it was the act of observing it that caused it to act like a particle. But this girl was postulating that when you shoot individual packets of information through, whether it's an electron or a photon, it seems to act like a particle, but it actually does that all the time, because when you shoot the full stream through, there's so many particles that they just blur into each other and you can't really see them. So yeah, it didn't seem to me like it was necessarily the observation of it. It was that caused it to do that. It was more the amount you shot through there, if that makes any sense. If you shoot an individual one through at a time, then it looks like a particle. If you shoot them all through at once, they interact with each other and it acts like a wave. And some people sort of like commented and said, like, our mathematics or our interpretation of the universe is really just like a word that we use that most closely describes it, but it isn't necessarily that. It's yeah, so it might not be a wave or a particle, but it acts like both. So yeah, that was the sort of gist of it.
I was able to do my cool sci-fi effects so that we could have you explain that while everybody's seeing my cool spaceship and my version of the Matrix, which I think is 5 times better.
That's pretty cool.
Look at that, dude.
Yeah, that was mad.
That I did that, and guess what I did it with? I did it with Blender, dude. No AI whatsoever.
That's your manual work.
Yeah, that's like painting by hand rather than
painting by hand. Let's stay away from the politics for that, because you know who that is, right? When you start saying words like painting by hand, right?
Yeah. Shall I bring Rio on the conversation?
No, I was thinking of what's his face, that one dude, the gay dude with the.
What do you mean? The guy with the curly hair?
Yeah, he says he has got that beard. He sits there and says, "Let's talk to the tree, shall we?"
I wish we could remember his name.
I forgot his name. Kramer made a joke about him. He did a really cool video of it where he was talking about what's his name, Muhammad, and he was pretending to be him, where he would make a drawing of Muhammad, and he says, "Here, let's put in his little 6-year-old wife."
Oh, you're talking about the American version of Wolf Harris. What's his face? died in the 80s, I think.
Yeah.
Famous
But
in the
Bob,
70s and early 80s on US
Bob
TV.
Ross, isn't it Bob Ross?
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
American.
The American version of 4 hours. Yeah.
Okay, so
Um,
I was glad that you was able to get into that. Now, before we get into topics, I want to remind everybody, if they're watching, that we do have the links available on X. It's also available on Teams for anybody who's on Teams. I put the links as well. No, I don't think I did it on Rumble. I'm not going to do that on Rumble or on Twitch or Kick, because you guys are just a waste of my time. And D Live to you guys.
But we love you anyway.
No, not really. Mark loves you, but well, D Live, at least freaking people talk to me in chat. Like I'm really getting a little resentful about this shit. You know what I mean? I keep saying it at the end of the stream. I'm like, guys, please talk to us, and nobody freaking talks to us.
and I take it personally.
I do. I mean, seriously, I take it personally. DK's.
Roger cries in the corner every single night.
I do. I do. I really do. Because, we.
I talk to you sometimes, Roger. I comment on our own videos.
I know. It's like on Rumble, you talk to me. Sonya talks to me. On D Live, Mark talks to me, and DK talks to me. And then on
Here's the thing: even on Rumble, I think only like 1% of users actually use the chat, and probably less even the comments. So like,
yeah, I think you'll find that. Yeah, I think you find that with most YouTube or video creators, podcast
yeah. So like,
creators.
if you get 1,000 viewers, you might get 10 people that do it. So
but I do.
I'm not letting it.
I do want to point something out that's really, really cool. I've been going on this one dude's stream, and I'm not going to say his name because he doesn't freaking know me from freaking Adam. But I've been going into the chat, and one thing that I one day want to do is I want to set it up to where we have freaking an actual stream, and we allow people to come on and tell their stories, and then they hang out in the chat section and have conversations about whatever's being said in the stream,
Mr. Robot, a job for you. Find a cross social media platform, integrated chat client.
That would be cool.
For which platforms do you want to connect to?
For the ones that we use.
Well, we
probably some sort of plug-in Python then. Probably.
All we use is Element.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the live YouTube.
Now, actually, we have that.
I thought this.
That's what I was getting ready to say. We have that here, actually. Like, I'm actually hooked into Rumble, Twitch, X, and D Live, and all them. And whenever a comment is said on any of those, it'll come onto our live chat over on the right hand side. So it's just people don't want to talk.
We get the odd one every day.
No. Using something like
what's our topics of discussion, Roger?
Well, you guys have been freaking going ape shit crazy in the chat on Elements, and I've been kind of sifting through some of it. Now, I know that you guys are really into the stuff that's going on today when it comes to immigration, and I've talked about this topic for quite a long time about Civil War, and Mark Edworthy posted something from English alternative media source that had the name on it, live, "Don't Start a Civil War." Okay, now I do have to give them credit because not too many people in the even in the alternative media, talk about discuss what's going on in Northern Ireland. I mentioned that before when we were doing our last episode of Untethered. But I also want to go farther with that and mention the fact that um, we had the conversation and why I brought that up about why is it that the alternative media who's supposed to be discussing stuff about this isn't discussing it, and I said it's because they were ashamed of it. Mark had his opinions on it, but the reason why I said that they're ashamed of it is actually because what happens is like they're using this for people to come on, or using what they put on their channels as something that attracts people to come and watch their stuff. Okay,
That's really it.
you know, and if you're into watching all the videos that are actually being put out on all of these platforms, you would easily see that the majority of people who are even bringing Ireland up are usually white supremacists, and they don't.
Please, you're making such a broad statement.
Let me finish. They don't even deny the fact that they're white supremacists. You know, I mean, I actually
nor do half of them agree that they are white supremacists. It's because I don't go around and publicising that I deny that I'm a unicorn. Doesn't mean I am a unicorn.
Are you trying to tell me that there are not white supremacists that are in Ireland that are
you're
point blank?
now. You
No,
just said
no.
most
You're-
people, and then you're now saying, do you deny that there isn't any? That's
Are
conflating.
you telling me that there are not people on the internet right now who are point blank saying they're white supremacists?
I've never said there isn't
Here-
a percentage that are.
There,
But
here's
don't
my
conflate.
nuanced
Do
response.
not conflate.
I just
So-
saw. Oh, go ahead.
So here's the thing, Roger.
Hold on.
Low intelligence of you.
No, it's not.
You need to realize there's every type of person out there, and there's not just white supremacists. There's supremacists from every culture out there on the internet. But I think right now there is a resurgence in interest in white culture and white, if you want to call it race or whatever. But I think there's a lot of like sort of solidarity forming now because the white people realize they're actually at threat of sort of extinction if they don't learn how to come together again and appreciate their own culture, because we've been sort of brought away from it through media and stuff like that over a long period of time, and our birth rates are dropping in the white race really. Since the 1960s. So there is like people who are actually white supremacists, and there's people who kind of come across as that because of their sort of renewed interest in that, in sort of espousing those ideas or whatever, in like white solidarity and whatnot.
Well, let me point something out too about that video that I watched that Mark shared. The thing that I do compliment him on is the fact that he said, "Do not listen to the Tories," and the reason why he said that was because he is not racist. Okay, now I give him credit because he actually did make that stream. But let me point out what happened to me about 3-4 days ago. I got a freaking recommendation on my channel where this kid freaking started talking about the incident with the two boys that got arrested. And he said that the mob ended up freaking taking over, and they went out and not only damaged the property that the boy lived on, but burned it down. Now, after he mentioned all that, he said that it was a shame. But the reason why it was a shame was because perfectly good white people could have lived in that freaking house. It wasn't for the fact that they destroyed the property and they committed crimes. It was because good white people could live there.
Who stated that exact sentence?
It was on a video that I watched.
Okay. Yeah, it was actually
Yeah,
stated.
that's not right.
And there's
Look, have you?
there's tons of videos out there that says that, Mark. I don't
Of course,
understand.
you are going to find videos. During the Black Lives Matter protest, um, do you remember any large amount of black supremacist content on it?
Not mentioned in the media, that's for sure.
Okay, so
But it was there. It was there.
this
Oh
is
yeah, for
Still there.
sure.
see
Still is
now
there.
this is what brings me to my next argument about this is because like everybody who freaking wants to bring up this thing about freaking identity politics, okay? They keep mentioning how there's Black Lives Matter and how many black supremacists were doing that stuff. But you look at what these people are doing. The same people who talked about identity politics are the same ones who are using it now, dude. It's the same freaking shit, but it's
I
a
agree.
Well,
I agree.
here's the thing.
But
Here's the thing. They played on people's sort of tendencies with that. But remember who funded Black Lives Matter? It was George Soros and the Open Society Foundation, right? So these
remember,
people, they sow unrest in a culture and through financing certain types of political elements, you know?
I
And
think there's a
so
bigger.
let's not
I
think
think
that
there's a
these
bigger
are
issue here.
natural things that occur.
Yeah, I know where a lot of this been influenced by, but there is a bigger question there. This is related to for the last at least 20 odd years,
30.
especially in the UK with the 2010 Equalities Act brought in, which I still think is a really bad act. I was written. There's been a culture, a top-down driven culture, and which has really seeped into both US, Europe, and UK and Western culture about identity politics, and it has been very evident since, let's say, 2010.
I would go.
I
I
would
would go
also
back to
argue that, like, for
90s.
hundreds of years,
Yeah,
top-down forces have funded, like, political revolutions throughout history, going back to the Enlightenment era in France, to the American Civil War. There's always been these like powerful, like funders of these different groups. Just like we do proxy wars today, and yeah, I dropped that documentary for you, Roger, to check out and verify
Okay.
on the American Civil War, the original one, and how like British families like would fund parts of the war. Freemasons would
French,
fund
yeah,
parts of
the
the war,
French.
and, but yeah,
There are good stories about the French support.
Yeah. Now
Uh,
that's what's actually being brought up here uh, recently, and that's something he mentioned on that video. But the thing too, when it comes to all of this, is like I disagree with him on one point when it comes to this identity politics. I don't believe that like one side is pushing it and then the other side is becoming a victim. Like white people are becoming a victim because of it. I think that it's coming from both directions. That
I
they're
think that's
well, yeah,
true
it's
now.
because it's not
I
it's
think
not
that's
a
true
societal
now.
phenomenon.
Mr. Wilbot, just a second, this is a very important point. I think that is
Right?
true now, but because of things like Black Lives Matter and the very LGBT member, these organizations need to make money, and this is one way of them making money. Once this,
Yeah, but who is forcing them to put it in
once,
there so they
once
can
these
make money? This
interests
is the top-down
come
control.
out of
You got
public interest, once the public gets bored with it, these companies have to further promote this for the purpose of them to again make money.
Yeah, but the people, like the higher institutions of power, enforce places like Disney to put this stuff in their media because it's class warfare. It's not between like
Yeah,
people
I
necessarily.
agree. I've made this point a few times before. The US doesn't really understand the class system as such because they
Well, they used to.
not
They've
really
forgotten.
have to deal with it. But well, me and you, because of where we come from, have a good idea about European class system.
Yeah.
And it is it's mainly a class style fight rather than an
Well,
identity
it's
politics.
super obvious now, really. Like, look at like the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing and how they're getting away with their crimes. Like, look at like Israel and like how they're getting away with their crimes. There's like definitely a multi-tiered justice system that's like plainly to be seen now by people, especially in America as well. So, like, I think we're coming to grips with it again now in the modern day. So,
You say two-tier police
I
system.
said multi-tier.
This is evident on an international scale and a national scale. I mean, look at what's happening in the UK with these sort of so-called political prisoners and the two-tier stances that
Yeah.
Starmer has pushed
Yeah,
in the last 12
totally.
months.
Now with me, this brings me into a lot of the stuff that with Epstein especially, and then P Diddy. Now I know everybody's like, well, I'm so sick of hearing about P Diddy, and me too. The only thing I learned about P Diddy is the invention of Astroglide, and back when I was talking to you guys about it, I thought it was like he was making these chicks freaking get out there and play on a freaking slip and slide. You know what I mean?
Sorry. You talking baby oil?
The gel. Well, I knew about
Okay.
baby oil, but I didn't know what Astroglide was. It was
Oh yeah. I did have a look at the website, didn't I? It was a sexual
I
ointment.
feel like we're getting off topic. How's this got to do with the Civil War?
but see, the thing about Trump is this. Okay, now they've got well over 50 videos or photos. I'm sorry, 50 photos of him with Epstein. Okay. And now you take a look at what's happening with Israel and Iran and Trump just jumping on board with that. And then you see Epstein's case being treated the way it was. For me, I'm telling you, man, there's people in powerful places that have dirt on Trump. Trump was in that up to his elbows. He was playing with the girls. He was doing all that 100%.
Again, I will state allegedly, just for the lawyers.
Well, it's pretty obvious. There's videos of him out there, like, partying with lots of girls, kissing lots of girls. There's been heaps of allegations in the media in the past.
Well, we've been having the same argument in the UK with Prince Andrew for several years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like, look at how long people denied it, right? Until it turned out to be true.
Technically, I don't think Andrew. It's never gone to court, and I don't think I've never seen Andrew say opposite. I don't think the royal family itself hasn't created a press statement on this issue at all.
Well,
and I would doubt that they would.
Like,
not something that they would want to touch.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
It's gotten so bad that even now people who were Trump supporters is starting to freaking question Donald Trump because of the.
Well, that's the good thing that's come out of all this, is finally these like evangelical Trumpists have like finally realized in all of politics they need to like vote better in the future by vetting people better. Like Trump was clear, will never change.
The entire U.S. veterans change on.
Getting into now, right? The potential of a new American Civil War. It's a bit of a taboo topic in, like, alt media spheres, because I don't think a lot of Americans want to face this reality as a possibility. But a lot of sort of commentators and have been talking about this, and the fears of like state fragmentation, and the possibility of a new civil war sparking out, especially between like Texas and California, or like
Yeah.
California seceding from the US. I don't think necessarily that's a realistic thing economically for California.
Well,
But
California
they're definitely stoking
liberalized
those
fucking
fears.
companies.
But you can see it happening, though, right?
But, well, there's a lot
I
of tensions in the US right now, that's for sure.
I can in theory, but I know Texas have been talking about sensation, removing them from the union for many years, but Texas has got a long history of this anyway. I think that's,
Yeah.
But when,
so,
when,
yeah.
when you talk about a war, it sounds like more like an organized thing where you have sides, and like, an organized militia or something like that. And right now, everyone's got guns. And I think what's more likely to happen is like some type of revolution rather than a civil war. Like there's America's so polarized across so many different things. I'd be surprised if like two sides unite on any given topic. But
Then we've got a problem in that case, and we are going to see this in Europe if Europe ever gets to the stage of civil war, in both US and Europe. If it will be portrayed as a sort of ethnic civil war,
Yeah.
irrelevant of the civil war real main reasons.
but Europe is
It
so
will be
multicultural.
portrayed
How would
as
that be
a
possible?
ethnic civil war.
Right. And I think that too. That's one thing I drew off of that video. I had to stop watching it because there's well, first of all, I had no real time to actually watch the whole thing through. I've been having to catch up on a lot of things that I've been doing in the last week.
I
But
only gave it to you 2 days ago or something.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they brought that up even on their stream too, and it does seem that that is going to be the case. And you cannot deny the fact that this stuff is the exact same stuff is being hit on all of these countries. Like the same crap that you're seeing here in the United States is being pushed in Europe. The same crap is being pushed in
Yep.
Australia, New Zealand,
Yep.
all over
Yeah.
the place.
Well, again, I think this is actually class warfare rather than like natural, divisions that are getting like emerging. It's being stoked through the media and through like politics and like all this, in order to like seed that idea into our heads. They even came out with that movie like a year or two ago of like American Civil War with the Trump type character and all that.
Right.
So they're like pre-planting these ideas in our consciousness so that they can sort of like just repeat it enough times for it to sort of happen. And like maybe there'll be a false flag type situation where, they claim that, a Trump supporter mows down a bunch of, of someone of some race or whatever. But I don't think that would be a natural way for it to emerge. It's a possibility, and like they've definitely war gamed that out. But I think what's most likely to happen naturally is like if we run into like severe economic turmoil, like let's say they collapse the crypto markets and the financial system at once, and people just can't buy
unlikely.
food anymore. I think there'll be like a type of anarchy / revolution type thing going on. And
A lot of
I could,
revolutions are based on shortage of food. The French Revolution, Antoinette let them eat cake. Then a lot of the Hungarian Revolution against the Soviets in the 60s was actually related to food.
All
Well,
right.
that's why the Americans wrote it in their Constitution. It's to be their responsibility to overthrow the government if it's not working anymore, or if it becomes so they have a right to
Yeah,
bear.
All right. The actual office for the two, it's not so people
indeed.
can carry around guns and show off to other friends how cool their guns are, or even go hunting. Okay, the sole purpose, and it's written in the Constitution, is to freaking so that we are able to freaking overthrow our government, and even that's being stifled. Now,
Well, that's why they're trying to bring out anti-gun laws for so long. They fear that possibility because it would be very difficult. Like, I mean, the power is in the people's hands in America, at least, because they have
At
the
least in
guns still.
theory. At least
Well,
in
the
theory.
problem is they've stopped running their own militias and relied on a standing army, which is not
Yeah.
really how the constitutionalists envisioned it. Right? They thought they should more have like militias in every state, run by the people, rather than like large standing armies.
well, see that they,
Uh,
they they screwed us over because what happened was Americans fell for this notion that the National Guard was a form of militia, and that's really where all of it fell apart. Now, the National Guard is not. Let me just put
No.
that out there. Okay, it's still ran by the government. Whenever they call wars on places like Afghanistan, and they in Iraq, they always send the National Guard first because they want to kill our
Oh,
National Guard.
Okay, so I thought the National Guard were actually retainees, sort of reserves.
That's what they're
Well, then,
and their responsibility is to protect the United States here within our borders. Each
yeah,
area,
they're reserves rather than they are sent. They're the first people that are sent
right?
out.
Exactly.
No, yeah.
Exactly. No, they're the reserves. The reserves always go out first before the standing army. They've been doing it since freaking Desert Storm.
Uh,
They're the ones that get sent out first because they're cannon fodder, and that's the way freaking the government wants to do it, so that they don't have to sacrifice their long-term trained military forces. You see, because look at World War II, V-Day. Okay, now whenever freaking they landed, okay, how many people died on the moment they landed on shore? You see.
I did remember. I did see a figure. I think 25, maybe 30%, if I remember right. But that's, yeah.
So they
Yeah,
learned.
it seems kind of stupid now looking back at it, actually.
Now, when you guys were talking about Prince Albert, I wanted to go back into P Diddy. Now,
Prince Andrew, you mean?
well, yeah, you can call him
And, yeah, Albert. Yeah,
You-
Albert.
you can call
Have
him
we ever had Prince
Andrew.
Albert?
You can call him Prince Andrew if you want to. Prince Albert is a lovingly name that we
Whatever your code name for him. He's alien.
here in America, we know what Prince Albert is. Okay, we know, but
Actually, yeah. Actually, yeah. That's a slang for.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I haven't heard that one in years. It's
Yeah.
actually a British thing and sort of died out in.
yeah. See how bad that your culture is. You don't even remember what a Prince Albert is.
Yeah.
I think the term is appropriatized.
Now, what I was going to get at is like in response to that, like I understand where Mark is coming from with that all that, because like this goes back to even what's happening here now. You guys have seen all of these deep fake videos about Justin Bieber, all right, and all of
Try to ignore him.
all of these supposed freaking alt media sources are like 100% this happened to Justin Bieber. To this day, Justin Bieber states he was never a P. Diddy freaking victim. to this day, and still yet these supposed alternative media sources are pushing this and saying
you're going to get both main media and alternative media making mistakes.
I don't know how we keep getting
their own,
the Civil
in
War.
some cases, their own biases.
well, this also relates to Prince Andrew and the allegations that were made about him.
I think I'm not absolutely sure about all, but the Sun, and the Mirror UK newspapers have sort of ignored the story. Actually, the Independents might have as well. But yeah,
Well,
majority
in
of
Andrew's case,
mainstream
there's quite a
media.
bit of evidence, though. Like, I mean, women have come forward. Who was it that reporter, interviewed or like sneak interviewed one of his like close confidants, and he admitted it.
Yeah,
What was
but
the guy?
again, innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, and that's something
Well,
that these people
how do
see.
you get 100% proof of anything like that?
Well,
Beyond a
beyond
reasonable doubt. Beyond a
no,
reasonable
it's
doubt.
called a court of
When
law.
he got asked it in an interview, and watch him lie. His blink rate goes through the roof when he's like, "Nope, never heard of her."
Actually, Andrew always.
You could just tell he's lying.
I remember I'm old enough to remember Andrew in the 80s. What is he now? He's 70 years old, 60 years old,
Yes.
something like that. But yeah, but he's always had that habit.
I had
Yeah.
that twitch.
Plenty of pictures.
Yeah, he's got a twitch.
But I don't know how this is related to the Civil War, guys. How do we keep getting back on this topic?
This is
yeah.
this is the kind of subversive propaganda that's being pushed out to create hate among the people. You have this faction who's pushing hate, and then this faction who's pushing hate, and you know what I'm saying?
Well,
and most of the stuff they're pushing is just complete garbage, and it's not real. Okay. You want proof? That's called a court of law. They've got DNA, dude, that can freaking hit you with just smoking a cigarette. So if you murdered somebody and smoked a cigarette and put it in an ashtray, you're done. If you didn't put freaking plastic over your body, they're gonna find DNA.
Was there a Columbo episode based on that, Humphrey?
There's a lot.
Yeah, there was a Columbo episode based on that one story.
But there's much better examples of like stoking hate than that. There's like all through the media all of the time they do the race division stuff in America. Obama pushed it a lot. Through like movies and stuff like that, especially they'll cast white characters as black and black characters as white, and like all sorts of crazy stuff like that all the time. You'll get these crazy liberal celebrities that would like have Trump decapitated and like all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
Did she ever get any? Did she get to prosecution stage? I can't think of her face, her name now.
Who was it?
Who?
The head, the Trump head.
Oh no, she didn't get prosecuted. No. Which is strange because, like, it does seem like a threat, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing is it's like all of this stuff now. Now they're trying to even say that the attempted assassination on Trump was a hoax. Like he actually sat there and let somebody
the last one,
him.
the ear one.
Yeah. Like he actually sat there and let somebody take a shot at his ear and trusted him. I'm sorry, dude. That's not going to happen.
Well, the only way that could have been a hoax is if he didn't get shot in the ear, But I would put it on a very low possibility. I'm not going to discount it completely, but I think it's a very low possibility, mainly because the people behind it got shot.
Yeah, I think with the exception, I know Reagan was attempted assassination tries, and I think every single president for a
That's
period
right.
before
There's been
him.
like 50 different American presidential assassination attempts or something
Well,
like
Yeah.
that.
well,
A lot.
even that you need to kind of get educated on it, because I heard the other night somebody tried to say there was an attempted assassination on Carter, and nobody tried to kill Carter, dude.
Okay.
You
I don't
know
know.
what I mean? It's like, and that's where I said it's very important for younger people to kind of learn political history so that they kind of get a grasp of what's going on and things like that, because it was openly stated on a freaking live stream. Well, Carter, and I'm like, no, dude, Carter was nobody
Okay.
ever tried to assassinate Carter.
Are you sure?
No, I'm no,
Uh,
yeah,
you're about the same age as me. If Carter, you'd be very young.
I
When,
was I was 6 years old when
yeah.
he lost office. No, I was six. He lost office in 1980, so I would have been 7.
Okay. Yeah.
But see, the thing of it is I'm into freaking history and political history. I know this.
Have you heard of the woman who tried to assassinate American president?
Which one?
Her name is Sarah Jane Moore,
Which
and
president?
she attempted to assassinate Gerald Ford in 1975.
Yeah.
Was given a life sentence. But there was another one, and she was like a cultist, and she used to wear like a upside down cross or a pentagram or something like that around her neck. She was like a kind of like a Satanist,
Bell.
basically, or a Luciferianist, you know.
Okay, that does
And I
ring
think
a bell, but
uh,
not sure.
so. There's been some crazy things in the U.S. and
There's
there's
crazy
some pretty
people in
crazy conspiracies around American presidential assassinations, I believe, because there's no way that that kind of consistency happens over time by accident, in my opinion. Like there needs to be some kind of influential larger forces at play instigating these things
Yeah,
for
well, yeah.
power.
Now,
One thing I think about is as far as government, as far as authorities are concerned, civil wars are a good thing because they can come in and stamp on it and create even more draconian legislation and draconian actions afterwards.
okay, so I
The other one we still haven't seen much about is the RFK assassination. Where are those files? You know,
well, you just received
there's
them.
a lot of evidence showing that Sirhan wasn't the one that actually shot him, and that was evidenced by John Pillagner was in the room with him when he got shot, and he said the shots came from the opposite side of the room from where Sirhan was. And that was shown by where the bullet patterns in the room was. It was on the opposite side. So and they found out that his security guard that was meant to be looking after RFK was actually like hugging him at the time, and RFK actually like pulled his tie off as he died, and people think that he was the one that actually shot him, and like while the chaos was going on. So it was like a operation going on.
Okay,
And I think he left the country soon after that. Never
So-
did be seen again.
you guys kind of took over and didn't let me finish on my cool thing. I mentioned Carter for a reason, guys.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people think that there was an assassination attempt that was made on him, but the whole thing about that was a guy who was mentally ill. Okay, made a claim that he was a part of a 4-man operation, and they had a plot to assassinate Carter. Okay, now this was put out in the New York Times, and later on it was actually dismissed, and there's good reason for it. But like these people for the longest time had tried to push this idea that freaking there was an assassination attempt made on Carter. You know what I mean? When it wasn't even an attempt, it was just a supposed plot. And the guy was mentally ill and he's completely off his rocker. You know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
And
Well, did you know the guy who did it was Raymond Lee Harvey? Almost like Lee Harvey Oswald. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah, it's just insane shit. And then like these days, it's like that kind of stuff is just superimposed. Everybody's just falling for that crap now. Like all through my life, nobody listened to stupid shit like that. You know what I mean? Like you could recognize garbage when you heard it. I'm into conspiracy, okay, but don't feed me a whole crap loads of freaking garbage that I know isn't freaking true. You know,
But
I'm not.
here's what I'm reading here, Roger, is Harvey. He had a history of mental illness, and he was found carrying a starter pistol with blank rounds, with
Yeah.
70 unsuspended cartridges.
Yeah.
What? So it wasn't even a real gun, and it wasn't even real bullets. Like, what is going on there? That sounds like a conspiracy to me. Like,
No, it sounds like a fucking crazy man. The only thing that they should have had was him walking in his underwear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Down.
well,
the
he
street.
actually claimed he was
Well,
part of a
smoke
four-man
pipe, yeah.
conspiracy
Yeah.
that was there to create diversion by firing blanks, and then other hitmen would shoot him. That is classic assassination, like intel agency level assassination, because that's what happened with Sirhan and the other guy. And that's what also like basically happened with, well, JFK was slightly different, but they had a 3-man or maybe even a four team sniper squads, and they were shooting it from different angles and stuff like that. So like intel agencies, they often do stuff like this where they have a patsy that they will blame it on at the end.
Have you ever sat down and actually listened to Sirhan?
Only like brief clips and stuff. Why?
He is freaking nuts, dude.
Well, I came up with it, and but I don't think he was the guy that did it, to be honest.
He claims that freaking aliens were involved in that shit too.
What?
Yes. He is really out there. He has like the imagination of Charles Manson. Just putting it to you that way. Like have you ever heard Charles Manson talk and a lot of the crazy stuff?
Yeah, I like Charles Manson talking. He's actually quite eloquent and like nice sounding.
That's, but
He seems actually pretty sane when I heard him speak, like in modern days anyway. I don't know, maybe not back in the day, but
Sirhan does stuff like that. That's something he was really big on. He is completely freaking out there, man.
But that's the perfect fall guy. You know what I'm saying? It's like I want to know about this alien thing. Like that's interesting to me.
It's been a while ago since I seen the video, but later on we can bring it up and use it as another.
There's actually videos of him like from 3 years ago being interviewed. I didn't know he's still alive.
Well, the last time I seen one of his, I think it was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was an older video that he did. So,
Well, I'm definitely going to check that out because I haven't actually listened to him in the modern times, so I'll check it out.
He is definitely.
But that was during the days of MK Ultra and warping people's minds to create like a Manchurian Candidate and all that kind of crap. So it wouldn't surprise me if they like scrambled someone's mind before they did something like that.
There you go.
Well, for me, like today, with a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, you know what I mean? I see a lot of narratives that are being pushed by people who are pushing a lot of false propaganda. You know what I'm saying? And it's coming from all directions.
Of course.
You
Yeah.
know, I and for me personally, I don't feel that that we need to frickin' be saying that these people are the victims and these people are the ones who are doing it, because I'm seeing it coming from both directions. And
Well, yeah, for sure. I think we should stick to the facts as much as possible and let the conclusions sort of emerge from that.
you know,
Um, a lot of times in the past where I've thought something sounds too crazy to be true, and then later on it actually was proven to be true. So I tend to keep an open mind on stuff these days, on what are potentials. I try to put the potential, what it could be, out of my mind and just try and focus on what is going on and learn as much about it as possible. And then usually through that, I will be able to draw my own conclusions.
now Sonia went on to the Rumble chat and she said, "Hey, locks are getting longer, Fabio." So
They are actually. Yeah, I was thinking about having a cut.
she
Was it a
she
couple of days ago?
she
How
must be
about some?
she must be talking about the man meat, Mark Edworthy. Edworthy.
Indeed.
So, you
So
know, when with that being said, I think it's time that we talk about this doco that Mr. Robot posted up.
before we go on from that, I just want to say one more thing. I'm not saying it was aliens, but it was aliens. You know, it's
Okay.
like aliens are involved with more things than you'd ever realize. Like they are all
Little green
around us
men
all
from
the
Upper
time, in our
Century.
heads, stoking our, hopes and dreams and fears. Like I can't even begin to explain, but
Well,
they interact with me a lot. So I can imagine with politicians they'd be rife for it.
well, that's the reason why I mentioned the aliens, because I knew that's what you believed. Like, especially
Like
because
here's an example. Here's an example. This happened to me not last night, night before, and I had a trade on cryptocurrency, and then I fell asleep. I forgot to close out my trade, and in my dreams, these beings had come to me and they like, hey man, what are you doing with this money? I suggest you close it out, or you like, or do you want to make more money? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And I just kind of like resisted them through the dream. And then they kept coming at me more and more scary, like freaking I had to fight off a bunch of them until it got so annoying. I woke up and then I realized, oh crap, they were waking me up about this trade. And I lost a bit of money, but it could have been a lot worse. So yeah, these beings like communicate with me all the time. So just saying.
I ain't gonna say like it's not something that's beyond you know reality, what we think is a reality, because like I've mentioned a couple of things that's happened to me in my life too, that I really don't put a name on it, but I've mentioned to it about it, because like there are things that's happened to me in my entire life that's a bit out there, and I've used references like there's experiences that I've had where, like, for example, I've used my son whenever I was sitting on the back porch with him and we just had a bad storm, and the tree branch that was hanging out by our house had broken, and at that moment we were having a conversation and I told him point blank, I was like, you're going to end up being the one cutting that down. And it wasn't because freaking I was just being funny. It was because I knew he would be the one doing it, you know. And I've had situations like that happen to me all throughout my life. The last time it happened, it was actually on Nancy's show. She had this crazy dude that was coming on there, and she he kept talking about how he freaking was a remote viewer and everything, and how he was going to testify about all this stuff, and when I was sitting there listening to him, okay, there's something that happens to me. It's like I get these emotions that other people seem to emit, and I also freaking there's a like I can see darkness. You know what I'm saying? Or I can see like when people are really positive. I can see that, and it's
They
really
call that, what do they call that? What's the word for it?
I have no idea.
Empathic. You're an empath.
It well, see, the thing of it is it's not something that I control. It just happened, and I've never put a name on it. It just like when I was a little, I always saw the world like a person who sits in a movie theater and is watching life take place on a movie screen. That's how I saw everything. It was like
Mm.
I wasn't a part of it. And then when I got old enough to realize that I was a part of it, then that's when everything started changing. But that kind of thing still happened. You know what I mean? Where we're
Did
certain.
you realize you were part of it, or did you get convinced that you were part of it? You know what I
That's the question, you know. But it's like this guy though. He was sitting there talking, and you could clearly tell that his mind was shattered. Okay, but I would first off say that he had a mental illness, but the energies that he really pushed off was like freaking like 1,000 forms of evil, of well, not evil, darkness, dark energy. You know what I mean?
mean? Hmm.
And I told Nancy, I was like, "There's something wrong with this guy. This guy is messed up. He's got some serious issues, and I don't think freaking it's like a remote viewer. I think that he's got demons. You know?
Yep, yep, 100%, man. I've got lots of
Mm.
friends that have that ability, that empathic ability, and different people experience it differently. Like for me, I see it more with my like third eye vision, I guess. Like I can see it open eye or closed eye, but for me, I can actually see the beings in certain states of mind. You know, like I can actually see their what they look like, whereas other people they can sense it, like they feel it, like an energy type thing.
Mhm.
So like yeah, different. Like I think we all have these extrasensory perceptions that it's just actually natural abilities that we all have, and we've sort of forgotten how to use it or something, or we don't use it enough for it to become useful. But
I
it always amazes me how many people actually are able to do these things, yet they never talk about it and they never believe in it in a way. Like they always act as if it doesn't exist. And yeah, it's just mind blowing to me.
well, I can tell when these kind of things are feeding off of people. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of them do. They feed off of your emotions, and they take it.
That's right.
Um, and
And they can instigate emotions too. If you have that preconception to like, if you have the tendency to be fearful or angry or stuff like that, they can stoke those emotions in you. If you're uncontrolled or unaware of your emotions getting out of control, they can ramp it up in a way and then feed off that, or like create situations where everyone gets into that state. You know, I used to see it as a like an evil thing or a bad thing, but now I think of it more like it's just a part of nature. Like, you know, just like we have animals that eat meat and animals that eat, we eat energy, good energy and bad energy. It's just different realms of the universe and like different orders of existence. It's I try not to judge it as much these days. I try to take responsibility for my own emotions and my own sort of state of mind rather than trying to blame it on entities or whatever.
oh,
But anyway,
I think actually with that, I think that these are like ancient entities at one time used to call gods. You know, that's what my research is really drawn onto it because like when you take a look at the ancient Sumerians, when they sacrificed on to these deities, it was understood between them that they had to do that because it freaking that these deities fed off of it. So if
yeah,
you
but all these major ancient religions had some kind of hierarchical order of beings, right? And like the ones at the top they would call gods, which I think we would now call aliens. But like the lower order beings, the ones that kind of cruise around, the Japanese call them what do they call them? Something hungry ghosts, and the Arabs called them genies, and they're sort of more discarnate beings and stuff. So there's definitely, well, it seems to me like there's a different order of these beings. I've experienced it as well, where some of these beings, they almost only exist when you're like looking at them or feeding them or something like that, and then they disappear. But others are more persistent, where they like latch onto you and stick around for many years. So different powers in them for sure. And like even secret societies and stuff like that believe in this stuff nowadays, where they do ritualistic practices to call it in and try and get stuff out of them.
Well, what's an exorcism? You know what I mean? Let's get serious. What do you call an exorcism? And what these people call demons are actually ancient deities that were once worshipped by older belief systems, and now all of a sudden they're demons. You know what I mean? Because they're not approved of by the church.
Well, I take issue with both those terms, demons and deities, because it describes sort of some kind of higher importance to them than I think they deserve. I think they are just beings like anyone else in the universe. And if we start like worshipping these things or like giving them like disproportionate,
they are deities that are meant to have created the human race.
Well, yeah,
that's what you
should remember where the deities come from, right?
That too. Hey, okay, let me just say it like this: a higher order of being that so happenly created humans through DNA research.
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I would call aliens nowadays.
Okay, is that better for you, Mr.?
Yeah. I can get rid of that.
Okay, he's been around all of us crazies long enough to kind of understand, kind of accept things. Like, you know what I mean? It's like poor Mark Edworthy. But hey, he's got gray hair though. That's the important.
Think of this, right? Like we are able to actually create our own beings with our own genetic research now. We've created cells from printed out DNA, right? And if we can do it with only 2 decades of DNA research, what can beings do that have had?
DNA research has been going back from the 70s, 60s.
Yeah.
Remember Dolly the sheep back in the 90s in the UK.
We've only had CRISPR technology for 20 years, 30 years, 20 years.
That we know of, guys. Let's keep that in mind. Like CRISPR, that stuff is just way too advanced to be only 30 years old. I'm sorry, but it's way too advanced.
It's not that advanced, really. It's kind of simple.
Yes, dude, it is very advanced.
The advanced part is understanding what the genome is and does. That was the hard part, is mapping the genome and seeing which codes code for which proteins, how those proteins interact with each other. That was the hard part. Manipulating DNA was not hard.
Let me kind of put it out there like this. You are in a generation that has been desensitized to information. Okay, I grew up in a time where we didn't have freaking CRISPRs. When you seen stuff like that, you saw it on an old B-rated freaking sci-fi movie, dude. You know what I mean? So I mean, you got to understand, like, you have come up in a generation that understands this more than my generation does, because you've been introduced to it at a young age, and it's just everyday knowledge for you. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I kind of grew up in the scientific sort of, medical field as well. I've had friends that actually do CRISPR. I took genetics classes in university. my teacher used to create flies without eyes and stuff like that and bring them to class, and just by disabling different genes just to show us and whatnot. So like, yeah, I was like exposed to it quite a bit. But my real point though is like, even the industrial age is only like a few hundred years, right? And like our modern history only tracks back about 12,000 years, and humans have been around for 500,000 years. So like we actually have such a short window in the grand scheme of things of like understanding, when if you compare that to, let's say, an extraterrestrial species that could have been existing, like had a society or a civilization for like hundreds of thousands or millions of years, that's hard for us to imagine, because our time frame is so short. It's like a microsecond in the scheme of things. And the fact that we can already create life, and we're like monkeys banging with wrenches on machines, and like we can like barely just understand this, and we can already do this. That to me, like, if there is life out there, if it gets proven to be life out there on even just one planet, it means it's all over the place. And if that's the case, there's 100% chance that there's beings out there that can manipulate DNA, seed planets with DNA, and they would probably conduct these things as experiments just throughout the whole universe to see where life takes hold, how it evolves, all sorts of stuff. I mean, we're going to be doing that soon. So, yeah.
I'm not. Maybe not soon.
Well, let me also point something else.
Maybe not within our lifetime.
We're both into history and everything. Well, actually, all three of us are to a certain extent. Mark is more scientific than historical, but let me point something else out that's a little bit more disturbing than that. Like we talk about, we've got maybe how many thousands of years of memory. Well, let me just point something out that actual historical information doesn't go back even that far. We don't even have accurate information about 500 years ago, dude. Okay. Um, I've had these conversations with Mark Edworthy about Shakespeare. Okay. Uh, people people don't even realize that even in our recent history, within the last freaking 1,000 years, we don't have information.
Well, it's mostly been propaganda, right? History is written by the victors. Even when I was growing up, we got taught that Christopher Columbus was the one who discovered South Africa or discovered Africa. And I'm like, only later on did I realize, no, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. There was already people here. How did he discover it? It was like propaganda that was like seeded into the consciousness of the young people so that they feel like they own the place. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, even like the last presidential election, we're still getting propagandized on who won what, who manipulated what. There's no one is, I wouldn't say no one, but like it's not a cultural phenomena that accurate historical information gets documented. It's everyone has their agenda and their sort of view on things and speculations on things, but to get real history, you have to like dig through everything yourself and figure it out for yourself, really.
But see, what really turned me on to that first was when I wanted to find out all this cool information about Vlad Dracul and his father. I actually went through and I started checking out the facts that were behind it. And the truth of the matter
Wait, who is this? I don't know who this is.
Vlad Dracul.
I
Dracula.
don't know who that is. Oh, Vlad the Impaler. All right, right.
Yeah, Vlad Dracul. Yeah. And his father, his father was supposed to be very, very significant when it came to the holy wars and stuff of that nature and the fight against the Turks. The problem with all of that is the fact that history in that region doesn't really go back any farther than 500 AD, and that's mostly just conjecture and hearsay. You know. So even in that kind of respect, we don't have information that's actually written down. It's more folklore and tales that were passed on, and the same thing goes with England. juxtaposing is what it is. It's when it comes to Ireland and their ideas, and the Scottish and their ideas, and then you combine that with the Vikings. Okay, that's about it. It's just juxtaposing information that's been freaking passed down through word of mouth.
I did just check. I was just wondering when you said that Gilgamesh, when was Gilgamesh written, and that's 2100 BC.
Right. That's why I love Gilgamesh, is because it was written in stone.
Yeah.
You know, if it's written in stone, it's truth. So there ain't nothing more truthful than something written in stone. So if you want somebody to believe you, you go out there and chisel something in stone, and it's true.
You mean like Moses?
Right. There you go. Well, God did that.
Well, no, Moses was meant to be the one that was noting it down, all right? But like, how the hell did he do that? Like, how long would it take you to chisel something into stone? It's not something you could just do on the fly, is it? Like, how quickly was God talking to him?
What's your words per minute?
That's just wrong, dude. That's just wrong. You guys are horrible. What are you doing? We're going to lose viewership. We're going to lose viewership because, you know, these Christians going to hear you guys talking all that blasphemy.
I don't know how it's blasphemy. It's just facts. Like, how fast can you talk? How fast can you chisel?
See, and this goes into what I was talking about with ancient alchemy. Okay, now nobody freaking cares to hear that shit. I always bring up the stuff nobody likes to hear about. Like, do you see alchemy in a lot of these religious texts, and not just Christianity, but all of them?
Oh yeah. Even from the East as well. Like, alchemy was spread all throughout the world, really, in different forms. Mm-hmm. Sometimes symbolic, sometimes physical. It's in art all over the place.
Well, look at Buddha. Buddha sits in the lotus position. Okay, and Aphrodite has always been portrayed in esoteric teachings as being flying on a lotus with lotuses on both sides. Okay.
But
and
could it be that a lotus represents a flying saucer type situation?
You can make it into whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? And then you take a look at Jonah being swallowed by the whale, and compare that to Moses whenever he saw the backside of God on the mountain. They both turned solid white.
They what?
They both turned solid white. Their skin turned white when Jonah was spit out of the well. He came out and his skin was solid white.
I didn't know that.
I can't remember that from any version I've read.
Yeah, I don't remember that from.
You guys need to read the Bible.
Okay. Are you sure you've actually read that?
Yes, it is.
What? King. Whoever. James. Version.
You can read the King James version and hear it in there. It's actually an important part of the story.
Here's the thing, though. I don't think the Jonah story is meant to be taken literally. Like,
of course.
I do think the Moses story was pretty literal, according to the remote viewing data I saw.
When Moses saw the backside of God, his hair turned solid white. He was as white as an albino.
Yeah.
Well, I know one thing: if you take too many psychedelics, your hair turns white. That's right.
Now, remember what we're talking about here. We're talking about alchemy, ancient alchemy. Okay.
And so they were playing with mushrooms back then.
Now, in alchemy, what does the color white represent?
Purity.
No. Okay, you have albino.
Or like, I don't know if it has a representation in alchemy. Isn't it gold that's more the higher element? in alchemy?
No, every color. You have white, red, black, and uh, they like you have rubido. You also have what is it? It represents albedo. No, you have albedo, rubido, and there's other ones. And white is actually let me see what it is.
Oh, it says here the color white holds significant symbolic meaning, representing purification, rebirth, and the second stage of the magnum opus known as albedo.
Yeah, albedo. Okay.
And negredo is the blackness, which signifies the process of cleansing and spiritual transformation.
Right.
Hmm.
See, I need to keep my notes close when I'm with you guys because Mr. Robot always says, I need sauces. I need sauces.
What?
Yeah, you do. You always do that. Where's your sauce?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
Go find
it's
your
good
own.
to have it on hand for sure. I try to sort of just look it up as I go these days, but
Now,
I actually collect like alchemical texts from different periods of time as much as I can, and it's kind of geeky, but it's pretty interesting because it was like in the 1600s Enlightenment era that it was they thought of it more as a physical thing, like actually turning lead into gold
Yeah.
by mixing all these different like boiling rocks and metals and stuff together, and they came up with these different colors, and it's pretty interesting from just like a like how did science come about thing, but um,
well, I mean,
perhaps it's more interesting the whole spiritual transformation, philosophical part of it.
the Philosopher's Stone is meant to be that. It's called the Philosopher's Stone for a reason. And the alchemy comes from ancient philosophers who freaking knew the secrets of life, okay, of the universe, the cosmos. It didn't. They don't call it the stone of transmutation or freaking the stone of turning metals into gold. They call it the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Which was merging opposites, and it was the ultimate goal of the process, was to create the philosopher's stone, which could then be used to transform physical metals. But some say that's literal, and some say that's an representation of consciousness turning into enlightenment from like its base form into an enlightened being, or wholeness.
Well, see, the thing of it is a lot of this information was transferred from the Arabs to the Europeans, and the information got lost in translation. You know what I mean? So a lot of ideas were lost.
The
They
white people just heard gold and they're like, "Really? How do I make this stuff?"
a lot of this came from the Library of Alexandria, and if you remember, the Library of Alexandria burned, and the Arabs were known to go to Alexandria, and they would collect information and take it back to the Middle East. So when the Library of Alexandria burned, we lost a lot of information.
I actually think that was a massive psyop. I think Caesar was in cahoots with Cleopatra at the time, and I think they saved a lot of that information before they burnt it down on purpose, because they knew of the power in the information, and I think that stuff is in the Vatican today, most likely.
Well,
But
I blame it on Eusebius because Eusebius was a very power hungry person, and he was actually responsible for the murder of Hypatia, who was a scientist back in those days. She was
are you
taken.
talking about Eusebius, the Christian monk, or who?
He isn't that the one who ruled over uh, I forgot. I must have messed his name up. Herodotus or some shit.
What
Uh,
did he do? What was his?
well, what it was is he was a very a very power hungry individual who wanted to climb the ranks within the Christian community in Alexandria. And Hypatia was like one of the first scientists who believed in researching the stars and things of that nature. And the Christian church during that time period thought that the accolade was like a form of witchcraft.
Oh, it is Eusebius that you're talking about.
Yeah,
I didn't know he
Yeah.
was power hungry. I thought he was more of like a historian and stuff.
well, he was supposed to be, but the thing about him is the fact that he wanted to freaking demonize and vilify freaking pagan beliefs. Okay, so he wrote his argument against the pagans. Okay, and in his argument against the pagans, he portrayed a lot of these old deities as evil demons. Okay, as and that's
Really?
yeah, and he was the first to actually bring up the whole idea of Moloch and how these horrible pagans were sacrificing babies to freaking their evil god of hell. You know,
Moloch or something.
yeah, Moloch, and
I also read some of his stuff, and he thought like deities like Thoth, for example, was an actual person. So he like personified a lot of deities, and he thought
he
they were like actual people in history and stuff like that.
he got that from Sanachunathan. Sanachunathan was the one who originally believed that, and I agree with Sanachunathan on that, where these people were recognized as regular beings, which they could have been aliens, like you talk about, but they were deified. You know what I mean? Because of the acts
Mm.
that they did and what they taught. Thoth actually comes from what we would call modern day Turkey. Okay, he was actually a part of the not the Assyrians, but the not the Hittites. But he was up there in the Phoenician. He was a Phoenician, and he traveled.
What?
Yeah, he traveled to Egypt, and he taught the Egyptians math. He taught them how to read and write and things of that nature, according to what they say
Where did you read that from?
from Eusebius and Sanachunathan, as well as from the Egyptian texts themselves.
Well, have you read
See,
the Emerald tablets?
Toth, Toth was not native to Egypt, or
Well,
for whatever you want to call
Greek, wasn't he?
I
Was
haven't made my mind up on that. But...
yeah, it was Greek.
it. Yeah, he was actually a later deity. Like he wasn't even
Well,
worshipped.
he was known as Hermes Trismegistus by the Greeks, right?
Right.
Because he
Yeah.
was meant to have incarnated at least 3 times in different forms, and
He was originally worshipped by the Phoenicians as
Okay.
Tawatis, Tawatis.
Tawatis. I haven't heard that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tawatis. You see,
But yeah, I mean, this is a common theme throughout different parts of the world where there's like a civilizing hero of some kind that has like ancient knowledge and brings it to the people and teaches them how to create a civilization. This is in India, South America with Quetzalcoatl and Thoth. You know,
Mm.
the what's the word?
Cabal.
Cornucopium, where there is this like horn full of seeds that like these heroes brought over the sea to grow crops and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, like this comes back to Graham Hancock's idea of a lost civilization before the where parts of ancient knowledge seems to have been preserved in some way or another and passed to like future
The,
generations.
the so-called Atlantis.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Atlantis principle. Yeah.
Now, I personally think that Atlantis is just made up. Now, I am on the I'm on the ifs when it comes to Ma, okay, or Mu.
If you want some like real good information on that, check out the Law of One channeling series. And
Nobody
if
know.
you type in Atlantis in there, it talks about Mu and Atlantis. It says Lemuria
I,
happened about 1,000 years ago, and
Uh,
it is actually the predecessors to the people that eventually migrated to Russia, North America, and South America, which is now the Native American Indians.
you,
And
you do remember freaking karma, right? Like I am not
yeah.
reading anything about the power of one ever at all. It is not happening, dude. The
well,
law.
a lot of stuff from these texts have actually proven to be true, like many years later after it was channeled. So that's why I find it interesting, and it's super detailed. Like, and here it talks about like Atlantis started around 31,000 years ago, and it ended about 15,000 years ago. Now, mind you, this is before we knew that the end of the ice age was 15,000 years ago. So, like,
Yeah.
it gets these things right. Like, approximately 11,000 years ago is what caused the people to die during that catastrophe, and we know that now through the research of Randall Carlson and stuff like that. Exactly that time period. So yeah, I'm just saying, like, a lot of things from these texts have actually turned out to be true. So
Well,
that's
see,
why I
I
give
mean,
it.
I I would have said a lot of disbelief things until you said Randall Carlson, but I do like what he has to say. But I don't
Well, he
climb
brings sources, that's for sure.
I don't climb aboard Graham Hancock's uh, ideas. You know what I'm saying? Graham Hancock will do whatever it takes to get publicity, and people don't understand that about him. Like he was the one that actually started pushing. He started pushing the Planet X conspiracy way back when it started. He was one of the big pushers on that. And then when that fell through, he kind of disappeared, and he came out with new stuff, and that's when he started getting into the whole idea of DMT and the
Well,
lower.
no, I mean, come on. He's an alternative journalist, all right, and like he delves into fringe topics. That's what he does. So of course he's going to investigate fringe
Nothing
topics.
about Alex Jones.
But
Yeah.
what like the I've got his book actually on ayahuasca and altered states of consciousness, DMT, and that, and he
Did you
actually
ever find the information I told you about
investigation.
with Planet X? Did you ever do any research on what I said about his theories on Planet X?
He never mentioned Planet X, but he did contribute to the Mars Mystery book, which explored speculative ideas of ancient civilizations in the past,
Mhm.
which actually have turned out to have some credence because they found like uh, trace particles of like uranium or plutonium on Mars, as if there's been a nuclear blast and stuff like that. A lot of people have claimed that there was an ocean on Mars in ancient times,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so like you
Now,
know
see what happened. What happened with uh, the Planet X thing was it literally freaking gave or it shit on Sitchin's stories of
well, yeah, that was
okay.
Sitchin.
Now Sitchin never said that freaking there was going to be a planet that collides with Earth. Okay, um, when he was talking about Nibiru, freaking this was something that already took place. It was supposed to have taken place a long time ago. And these people came in and they came up with their Planet X theory, which freaking just caused a shitload of controversy. Then all of a sudden, Sitchin was being criticized and attacked.
Well,
And that
Sitchin should be attacked to a degree because, like, his translations turned out not to be very accurate, in my opinion. But at least the things I've looked at,
are
it
you
doesn't
looking at
seem.
Are you looking at Sumerian context or
Yeah, like when I looked at like actual Sumerian translations, it didn't line up with what Sitchin was trying to say.
now
He
what
seemed to be very
you
interpretive and
you
of
need
it.
you need to look at the Hittite stories. Um, like when you look at the Hittites and what they wrote, and then you looked at the Phoenicians, you'll start seeing a lot of things that stick out, especially when it comes to um, what do they call them? The freaking shiny people, the shiny one.
Shining ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Sitchin brought that up quite a bit, and people people don't realize that that's actually more Phoenician and Hittite than what it is Sumerian. And he even said in one of his interviews that that's where he drew a lot of his information off of, was off of the Hittites.
Shining Ones. What was that from? Isn't
Shi-
that South American as well?
Shining ones are really weird. They come from South America. They come from Egypt. They come from the
I actually stood in the doorway of the Temple of the Sun, which has Viracocha on it, which is meant to be the Shining One, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I tell you what, it is a trippy freaking gateway, man. If you go and check it out, like it's got like reptilian looking angel beings on there with like lizard faces and shit like that, and like angels, and it's crazy. I'll try and pull a picture up of it.
Now I want to point something out. Sonia just came into the room. Sonia Galactic. The Galactic
Hello.
Federation is here. Didn't think I heard about that, did I? You're being added in as a part of the Galactic
No,
Federation, dude.
no, that's just on censorship sucks.
I thought that was cool, dude. I thought that was
Yeah,
really
it was
cool
pretty cool.
how
Sure.
Willie did that.
Yeah, Willie likes it, so
Yeah. Now,
I actually stood inside of this thing on DMT one night. I snuck in there.
I want to point out something else cool that I did, and I got Mr. Robot talking about weird shit so that it was ready for when you got here rather than us talking about politics. Because isn't that cool? Because now
Yeah.
you
I feel special.
well, I figured you would. So
Thanks.
I
That's
Hey,
did.
check this out. So on the side of this Viracocha being, he's meant to be the shining one, right? And he's got the similar kind of rod thing that they have in Egypt with this, with the antenna things at the end. And then next to him, he's got all these like angels with like crowns on them on the one side. But then on the other side, you'll see that there's these ones with like bird or reptile heads on the end here, with like feathers coming off their heads and stuff. So it's very trippy. And this thing is so old. Like I don't even know if we know how old it is.
Well, see, that goes into what I've always been saying. There's a all around the world. Everybody talks about the reptile and the bird connection. It's everywhere.
Mm.
You know, even in
Yeah.
Right.
well, I mean, not just the feathered serpent. Okay, now like Sumerians have an old folklore about a tree. Okay, and on the top of the tree lives the bird, and down on the bottom there lived a snake with its young. Okay, now they ended up living together and learning how to cope with one another until while the snake was away, the bird came down and killed its young.
And what does that mean exactly?
That is like one of the oldest folklores
Okay.
in
It sounds like Cain and Abel.
it,
Now,
it has to do with the bird committed or betrayed the snake. So the snake was told to go within the carcass of a dead animal and wait. And when the bird came to feast upon the carcass of this dead animal and grab him and freaking and don't kill him. So what he did was he waited within that dead carcass, and when the bird came, he captured him and he dropped him down into a hole, and the whole thing led up to a guy who was a king that his wife was infertile and couldn't have a baby. So, in order for him to have a baby, the bird had to agree to fly him up to On, which is heaven, so that he could ask that the gods allow him to have a baby.
And the story, yeah, carry on.
And
It's,
go ahead.
it just reminds me of like the Mexican condor and the snake situation. But continue, finish your story. Sorry, I just want to say something afterwards.
So what happened is the bird finally agreed, and he was released from the pit. But what he had to do was fly him up into On, which is heaven, and it describes in the story of him flying up and this guy being able to see himself leave the planet, which that kind of stuck out to me as kind of being an extraterrestrial kind of thing.
Well, definitely, I was about to say that too.
But then
And
but then it says that the bird lost his hold on him and he dropped him, and before he could hit the ground, he was able to catch him, but it saved his life. You know, so that was how he redeemed himself for murdering the snake's young.
Have you heard of the story of the 7 sages of Sumeria?
Well, why don't you tell us about it?
The 7 sages, known as the Apkallu or Abgal, were demigods and wise beings created by the god Enki to establish culture and civilization among humanity. They served as priests of Enki and advisors or sages to the earliest kings of Sumer before the flood. The Apkallu were credited with giving mankind the me, which is the moral code, the crafts, and the arts. They were depicted as fish-like men who emerged from the sweet water of Absu and represented the lower torso of a fish or dressed as a fish, but really kind of like scaly beings, you know. And when you look at what they look like, this is your classic. Well, this is one depiction of them wearing like I don't know, like a fish type things. And notice how it's a similar headdress to what the Pope kind of wears these
Yeah.
days, you know, with
Pope hat.
two spikes. But
Right.
when you go into like some other depictions of what they look like legit alien reptilian type beings, you know. Where's a good example here? You know, and they carry the pine cone. So here's an
Right.
example of where sometimes they're depicted as more like human-like, sometimes more fish-like, sometimes more bird-like, you know, but it's kind of blurry. But do you see what I mean? And they have the pine cone, which, you know, I don't know. There's different theories on
Pine
what that
cone.
represents.
Oh, yeah, I know. There's
The pineal kind of thing.
pine cone.
Even in the Vatican today, you'll see pine cones everywhere. That's sort of persistent throughout history, you know.
I think in the Anglican Church you see pine cones in various churches and stuff.
And also the 7 sages is also, it's also you know, they don't always describe them in the same way, but it's interesting to me that the exact same number of holy philosophers have been like said to be in Greece and in India. They were known as the Saptarishi, the 7 sages, who brought the Vedas and other Hindu literature through like I think they were like floating on a whale or something like that. It almost sounded like the Jonah story. But yeah, they also like civilizing heroes brought these holy texts that are like super advanced and like started the whole Indian culture basically. So yeah,
Interesting.
it's bizarre, right? So
So
it does make me wonder if we did get this like higher knowledge from like some kind of extraterrestrial interaction event, you know.
mhm.
Maybe.
so before we go on, I want to get a little feedback from Sonia because she never talks anymore. She's just all quiet
Yes,
on on
I'm
that
reserved. Chappie taught me well.
on, on that last episode that we did with Mark or Mike. What was your final thoughts on a lot of that stuff that we did?
Oh, earlier, it was pretty cool. I mean, there was a lot of interesting topics that we brought up
Mhm.
that we talked about, like with the the AI and all kinds of stuff, really.
Oh,
So,
this is what you'll meet in 5 a.m. your time.
yes,
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
excruciating because I had to stay up all night long and
that's what
only.
I've done.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Because I got to go on with Javi tonight, so I might as well just stay up,
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's easier that way.
I
Yeah.
turned around, dude, and I did that, and then well, the only thing that saved me was the fact that whenever I went on Dragus Productions,
Mm.
he lost his internet. So
Yeah,
Yeah. I
right.
bet you were glad about that one.
I,
It's crazy, huh?
but the
Like, out of nowhere.
yeah, but then the bad part was is I had to be up at midnight to do my esoteric agenda stream. So
Yeah, you're such a busy guy with the hectic schedule, huh?
you know why though, right?
Because you make it that way?
No, because nobody can do what the mighty infamous OG 1973
Of
can
course
do.
not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, they
I have to agree
recognize
with that.
it's all about that. It's all about that.
It's all about that.
That's
That's why you
right.
have so many admirers
Not really.
and
They
subscribers, huh?
freaking they freaking talk shit on me, dude, all the time.
Yeah? Oh
No,
my
not
God.
That's
really.
just part of being on the internet, I think.
Well, no,
Yeah, for sure, right?
it's a part of being good looking. You know, when you look good, man, that's when they talk.
You never show yourself on the screen,
I
though.
know. He's right there, though. It's
Yeah,
almost
yeah,
like
it's
he's
there,
on screen with his frozen
almost.
statue right there.
Right, and my
Doesn't want to have to do his makeup, that's why.
Yeah, right. I know how that is. Jeez.
yeah,
Such a pain.
well, it's the sexy voice too, though. You
Yeah,
know,
well, that does the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, who needs a picture when you get that, right?
exactly. And like it's like shit, dude. You know.
So, what's our next topic, Roger?
Oh, shit.
Well, our next topic is the tower at 666 Fifth Avenue in Manhattan.
Oh, my.
Now,
Okay, this is one I don't know very much about, so you have to
now
enlighten me.
this is something that Mr. Robot brought up. He's really into this stuff about Kushner and the Kushner Company, and
Yeah.
they ended up buying the building 666 Fifth Avenue in 2007. Later on, they changed the address, which it's still 666 because of the location, of course, but they changed it to 665 if anybody's interested.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Good
if
to know.
you look for it, you're not going to find 666 Fifth Avenue.
Well, they changed the logo to Citibank, right? Or
Right.
something like
Yeah.
Now,
But this is a picture of it. It used to be
I was
666.
reading the Wikipedia entry for Charles Kushner earlier, and
Highly accurate.
he's an interesting character.
Apparently, he overpaid for that building too. Like, it was like a record-setting amount that he paid. It was like 1.6 or 1.8 billion for the building. And then once they renovated it, he sold it for like 100 times more than that, or something like that. It was crazy.
Right.
In 2004, Kushner was fined 508 and 8,900 by the Federal Election Commission. He was pardoned in Donald Trump actually pardoned him.
Yeah.
Well,
Now,
big buddies with Trump, right? They go way back, and
Yeah.
even
no, I understand too. He pled guilty.
he
Okay.
was
Yeah.
convicted of
Yeah.
illegal campaign contributions, tax evasion, and witness tampering, and sentenced to 2 years imprisonment.
Now, hold on. Let's hold up. Let's understand something. It wasn't a court system that had to prove his guilt. Okay, he didn't. He literally pled guilty. Okay, so
Sounds like he got a slap on the wrist. Like,
he pled
So
guilty, and Trump let him go.
Yeah.
in
Really.
December 2020. So what was that? So Trump's first election.
Yeah. What then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his son ends up marrying Trump's daughter.
Yeah.
Which is fucking crazy.
Right. That's totally normal, you know.
Exactly. It was like,
Oh yeah, political unions, normal.
And just to show you the power of
princes
these
and
people,
kings.
right?
Princes and kings have been doing the full
Yeah,
centuries.
totally normal. Totally normal stuff.
Yeah.
gotta love it.
Benjamin
Yeah.
Netanyahu has slept in Jared Kushner's bed. This occurred when Netanyahu was a guest at the Kushner family home in Livingston, New Jersey, before he became Prime Minister of Israel. During his visit, Jared Kushner, as a teenager at the time, gave up his bedroom to Netanyahu and instead.
Yeah, right.
A lifelong relationship between Yahoo and the Kushner family.
He gave up his bed, my ass,
Huh.
or his ass, I should say.
Yeah.
It's that
That
whole
is
that whole skull and bones thing showing you.
Yeah, in 2015, he paid for the PAC, the super PAC for Trump's own 2016 election campaign. So
well, all these years I've been trying to figure out why Trump is so pro Israel.
Huh?
Okay.
Sorry, you finish, Mark. What were you saying?
He's already finished. We're waiting for you now.
Yeah.
Come again?
Sorry, sometimes there's a delay. Yeah, for years, like everything to me about Trump kind of made sense when he was campaigning and stuff like that. Until it comes to Israel, then he just like everything goes out the window, and he just makes totally illogical seeming decisions, and like it always goes towards Israel without question. And I always just wondered, like, why?
Always illogical.
Yeah, and it was just like
there is a logic.
Isn't he
to
like
some of these
their
actions.
king or something over there or whatever?
Well, what it
Sorry,
is just it's Epstein. Okay, now Trump freaking had his penis in a lot of young girls, probably a lot of boys too, and
Don't say those words in the same sentence,
allegedly.
please.
yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably
really
probably
gross.
true.
Probably. So allegedly.
Yeah.
It still brings the same vision.
Yeah, I
going on,
know.
so thanks for that.
But it was what I was saying earlier. You know, there's a lot of powerful people who know this because they were there too, and there's blackmail. You know, there's potential blackmail according to Mark Edworthy. This is something that a lot of people don't want to admit because they're either freaking, you know, Trump worshippers or they're freaking
Surface dwellers.
Yeah.
that don't dig very deep into anything.
Boys and everything to them.
You know, there's well over 50 photos of Donald Trump with Weinstein or
they're not AI, are they?
Epstein. No, these were before AI was even being introduced.
You can make people look aged.
Well, this came out beginning of last year, where you know, some girls can allege that Trump was involved with Epstein. Yeah, and she
Mhm.
went on to say that Trump had sex with her, and you know, like to go a bit hard on her
But
nipples
there's
and
been
stuff
a
like
lot of
that.
allegations, and the
But it's
majority,
interesting
there's
that
been a lot of allegations
this
by
came
nuts.
out before all this like modern Trump Epstein thing, you know. So like now
Right.
we've had the Musk thing with it, and
With
we've
the,
had the cover up.
as far as Trump's concerned, there's been a long history of allegations dating back to the 80s, back to his heyday in
Yeah.
business. Um,
Which
yeah, he's got a countless amount of allegations.
which brings me to something else. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin to this day still doesn't give facts about what happened to
Mm.
him, and he refuses to freaking act, or he did for the longest time refuse to act. Donald Trump
Oh,
was the reason why he ended up getting his part on freaking Home Alone. Wasn't that
okay.
it? Home Alone.
That would, yeah, I've heard a story about that. Dating back to several years after Home Alone. When did that come out? That was
Right.
95.
It was it was back in the '90s. I know that much.
Yeah, yeah. I remember there was allegations made later on, probably in 99, 2000.
He even made a debut on one of the shows where the one where Macaulay Culkin was in New York and he was in the hotel.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I sort of remember the allegations.
And that was one thing that really stuck out to me whenever I started being honest with myself because and you know the weird part about this thing too is we were talking about this before you came on, Sonia, but do you notice how honest freaking a lot of these uh, supposed alt media people who are Trump supporters are being now that the decision about Epstein came out? Like all
Mhm.
of a sudden they're looking and they're saying, "Whoa,
Yep.
maybe Donald Trump isn't as great as we thought he was."
Mhm. Yeah, I've
So,
noticed that.
so this lady testified in court that Trump would come around for dinner at Epstein's house, but he did not get massages at the Palm Beach house because he had his own spa with girls, you know.
Of
So,
course, of course.
so like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So that was something that really sticks out to me, and I mean, I I I think that it's a good thing that this thing happened with Epstein because what it did is it freaking kind of brought people out of their Trump worshiping syndrome. Um,
Yeah. A lot of people are still in denial, though. Have you noticed? Like a lot of people are still making excuses for him, trying to come up with these cockamamie like conspiracies of how it
Cockamamie,
could
even.
have gone.
Mhm.
Yeah, how it could have gone down so that Trump is still innocent, you know, kind of thing. It's like, whoa.
Remember, innocent until proven guilty in a court by reasonable doubt.
I just hope that that
Something like
happens at some point about anybody today, okay? Like all of these accusations that are being made, I would love to see one case that's actually in court. One.
that. There must be
Right?
some.
I was just
There's a
thinking
two
about that
shooting
the other
cases
You
day.
could
that
find
most
out.
people
You
don't
could
go to
find out
court.
yourself.
Like how
Did you
many
guys see this though, where
Oh,
like Trump
piece of
made
paper.
Charles Kushner ambassador to France? Only like came out in June.
Yeah.
So like
Wow.
convicted felon, ambassador of France. Makes perfect sense.
Send his ass to France. Fuck it. Like if you know what I'm saying? Come on, dude, whatever. Like Kushner belongs in France. He belongs
I'm gonna make Roger the president of France right now.
oh god.
Actually,
Please,
I mean,
please.
it's kind of the same, right? I mean,
Yeah,
We'll have to
I
marry it.
agree. I'll vote for that.
you're the president
Replace
of
Macron.
Spain. Right?
After yesterday's show, after yesterday's shows of Roger's Real Time Talk Show, man, I realized there's no real freaking, there's really nothing important about being the president of France. Okay, like, at
The French
all.
Foreign Legion.
Well,
Yeah.
no, dude, I found out about their freaking constitution. I thought they changed it twice. Mark got on the internet,
No,
found out,
15 times or something, wasn't it?
yeah,
Really?
15 times, dude.
Between 1789 to 1955.
Yeah.
Does every place have a
Yeah.
constitution? I thought it was just America. No.
Well, at one time, the majority of countries in Europe, except for maybe about 5 of them, had a constitution because, like, here in the United States, everybody's big about, oh yeah,
A
we
written, you are talking about a written constitution. So remember, the
just
UK has got a constitution, but it's not codified.
right. Well, I don't think any of them are over there. I don't think any of you guys take time to codify.
Yeah, the constitution. No, there are constitutions such as the Union of Scotland and England, and then the Union of Wales and UK.
So for it would be actually the UK unified, the British unified kingdoms that would be codified, and not the one for just England, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
The English
That would
constitution would become, and Magna Carta. Well, 3 elements of Magna Carta is still active in England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland.
so that's why you're
Um,
resentful.
The Bill of Rights or that of Rights of 1689.
That's why you're so resentful and hateful when it comes to me saying government instead of state, because you're a state, not a government.
You know, I ditched most
Well,
of
governments
fake history
governments come
class.
and go every 5 years, don't they? Well, even if the existing government gets re-elected, that is technically a new government, isn't it?
Right. And it's weird how that's
So,
changed too, because
yeah.
now here we call it a regime change.
That sounds very authoritarian.
Doesn't it? It sounds horrible.
It does.
Kind of reminds me of the pharma patents, how they get extended,
Oh yeah,
you know, and
you
block
were
out
talking.
anyone else from the market, you know.
You were talking about that the other day, weren't you?
Was I?
I believe so. The pharma patent. Or who was it that brought that up? Was that you, Mr. Robot?
Brought what up? Sorry,
Pharma patents.
Firma. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Pharma? Big
I
pharma?
don't know what that is.
As in PHE.
Oh,
Yeah, big
pharma.
pharma. Mm-hmm, yeah.
Which patents? Narrow it down.
You're gonna have to elaborate on it a little bit more,
Yeah.
Sonia, so that he understands what. Because
The how big pharma takes patents on a particular drug, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
maybe they modify it just a tidbit, and still and extend that same patent so that it kind of cuts everybody else out from the market, so that they kind of
Oh
monopolize
yeah,
the whole
they've
thing.
been doing that for a long time. What they will actually
Yeah,
do is they'll go to like Don, and they'll just quarter off parts of it and say, we own all of the genetics of all these plants, and like basically then they can create drugs out of all of these plants and no one else can own them. And even if they never end up using it, they've still got the patent on it in case someone ever wants to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then many years later, when no one wants it anymore, they'll just add a tiny little bit more of another drug to it and create a whole new patent off that. You know, it's been done for ages. It's just
Yeah.
money making scandal. Can I just point something out? Still on the Kushner topic.
go ahead.
Mhm.
So, how do I say this? I've been reading like Revelations for a while, and I sort of been like, it seemed like a lot of like things are coming about that is in Revelations that are meant to like that they actually said would come about in the end times, which was 2,000 years later from their time, which makes it our time. And so yeah, I always found it interesting, the part on the Antichrist, and they described him with certain qualities, which I have here.
He's Donald Trump. They describe Donald Trump.
Well, like, I'm going to read it and you tell me if it sounds like him, right?
Okay.
So, the Antichrist is described in Scripture by a range of moral, spiritual, and political traits. According to biblical passages, he is a figure who opposes gods, exalts himself above all divine authority, and deceives many people through his words and actions. His characteristics include blasphemy, deception, and a desire for power and worship. Okay, but then it says, Trump claims to be a Christian, but then he also kind of claims to be a Jew. Not he doesn't ever exactly say that, but the Jews say that about him, and he does wear the Jew cap
yeah,
to go to
but
Jewish
people
rituals and
can
stuff.
people can label somebody however they want. Doesn't mean it's true.
Well, the fact is, he does do Jewish rituals, and
Okay.
he does claim in public to be a Christian. So those two things are not compatible with each other. And so shall say in his heart, I will be like the Most High, shall exalt himself above every god. Deception and manipulation. The Antichrist is a deceiver who will speak great words against the Most High, make fire come down from heaven in the sight of men. All right. Are we talking about
I want to take an exception there. Just quickly. Trump making what did you say? Big words. You said Trump making excellent sentences or something on that realm. Have you heard?
Let me just finish. I'm getting to it. So fire from the sky could be like modern bombs and nuclear weapons, right?
Okay.
Worldwide dominance and power. America is seen as like the superpower of the world, like one of the biggest superpowers. Power, his throne, and great authority given to him by the devil. He will do according to his will and stretch forth his hand upon the countries. So has global reach, mighty and powerful. He is charismatic and persuasive leadership. All right. Trump is known for his persuasive speeches, speaks arrogant words and blasphemies. All right. Sounds a bit like Trump. Cruelty and disregard for life. All right. So, like, we don't exactly know what Trump is like behind the scenes, but just given the fact that he has funded the bombs against Gaza and bombing the Houthis and stuff like that, does seem to show a little bit of cruelty and disregard for life in certain instances.
Means to an end, you could argue, but that's enough argument altogether.
Well, I don't know. What do the rest of you guys think? Is funding bombs that flatten cities cruel or not?
Yeah, well, yeah, means to an end. Omelets, eggs.
No, you don't think that, Mark. But let's hear from you.
I am giving you a alternative devil's advocate's answer.
Well, of course, the devil would advocate for Trump. That's what it says in the Bible. I'm saying doesn't fit the pattern here, right? And then spiritual deception, all right, is another quality. Speaks marvelous things against God and the God of gods.
Justify spiritual deception?
Well, I'm saying he is practicing Judaism and Christianity at the same time. In public, he's Christian.
Then he isn't actually promoting such actions.
Well, it doesn't matter. My point is it's deceptive. And then end time significance, right? We're on the cusp of World War III. They keep threatening each other with nuclear weapons and stuff like that. And that's never happened before until now.
People threaten each other with nuclear weapons all the time. It happens every day.
And here's the final thing. Here's the final thing, right? In Revelations, they say the Antichrist, the number of the Antichrist will be 666. 666. And what do we have? His son-in-law is building 666.
Okay, so we can then.
Is what I'm saying. That's great.
It's a fascinating presentation there. Very good.
So anyway,
Mhm.
I'm done with my rant. So let's go.
That was great. Oh yeah, this is a cool website.
Do we have a next topic, Roger, or should I keep ranting? Or what?
I had something to say and then I forgot about it. So
Well, in Revelations, they also mention the beast, right? Which is the dragon mentioned in Revelations, which is supposed to be
Yeah.
Satan, which is also interpreted as the Antichrist, the beast of the sea. But yeah, it is described in Revelations as having, there was 10 royal crowns on its horns and blasphemous names on its heads. The beast I saw was like a leopard with the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave the beast his power and the throne of his great authority. So it draws a distinction between the dragon and the beast. The beast is the lower being, the dragon is the higher being that gives it its power, right? That's what it says in Revelations. And that description with the leopard, bear, and lion mouth reminds me of this Sumerian deity that's on the relief of the Gate of Ishtar, the Gate of Ishtar. This dragon type being, which is called Mumushu, okay, and it has the mouth of a lion. Well, technically, it has the feet of an eagle kind of thing, but it has spots of a leopard and like kind of like wings and. But yeah, here you can see at the front it has like, I don't know whether you could say it's lion or bear
it's like
claws,
a liger.
eagle claws, and like spots like a leopard. And well, here it's more of a like a lizard mouth, but in some places they do depict it as a lion. So it's got the lionish tail or whatever. So yeah, I don't know what it all means, but it's trippy as hell.
It's serpent worship. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't understand what serpent worship is. Most people who are involved in talking about that are usually Christians who don't really understand the concept, even though it's written in their Bible. Okay,
Well, here's the other thing that lines up with the Trump idea. One of the heads of the beast appeared to be mortally wounded, but the mortal wound was healed, and the whole world marveled and followed the beast. Now Trump got shot in the ear, and it got healed, and then everyone marveled at it. Right? Like that is crazy. I'm telling you.
Interesting. Wow.
See,
And like,
I told you, Mr. Robot's crazy. I told you.
I got my
It's
sources,
the-
He's pointing to facts here. That's all. Just correlations.
Yeah,
No, I mean,
I just
dude,
thinking
I've
about
been
this for a while. I'm like, why is all this stuff coming true?
I've been waiting for the truth to come out, and that's what's happening right here because he posted this in chat, like he's Mr. Intellect, and you know what I mean, and it's not about any of this stuff, you know what I mean. But now that we got him on stream, it took him what 2 hours to finally come out with what his real thoughts are. He believes that this is a prophetic interpretation.
Well, not necessarily. Well,
Come on,
partially, right? I think here's what's going on, right? If I'm going to be honest,
be
I
honest.
think the dragon is actually the alien reptilians. And I think they actually seed these books and these ideas into our consciousness like thousands of
Right.
years ago. And then they act to bring it about in the future so that we think it's prophetic and start following
Yes.
its ideas.
I
Now,
totally agree
look
with
at
that.
look at the amount of like Zionist Christians out there that are like ushering on the Third World War because they think that's going to bring about the Messiah kind of thing. You know, they like, yeah, let's have a Third World War. That'll be great because God said so. But
Now
who is this God?
Hold
Is
up,
it the dragon,
hey,
or is it some other like heavenly being? You know,
let's be accurate about wording here so that it's more profound. Okay, let's not call it Judaic Christians. Let's call it Judaic Christians because That's what it really is. These are Judaic Christians who believe this stuff, not.
But it's not even like Orthodox Judaism. It's more Zionist ideology, isn't it? Because
Not,
like Ortho.
now understand what it means when you say Judaic Christian. Okay, it's actually more profound when you put it in that text. Say it like that, because Judaic Christians believe this crap.
Mm,
You
mm.
see
And it's
what-
interesting because it's totally the opposite of what the Bible says. The Bible
Right.
said Jesus was the Messiah and the Antichrist is to come. Whereas Judaism says Jesus was the bad guy and the Messiah is yet to come. So it's like opposites, right? And like,
Mhm.
Okay,
I
yeah.
just find it like impossible that these things happen by accident. Yeah.
They don't believe it.
Right.
They
Very much
they
a wink-a-dink kind of thing.
see what happened was the Jewish religion allowed Gentiles to be a part of their fold by saying that the Noahide laws applied to Gentiles. So that created a connection between Christians and the Jews. Okay. Now the commandments, okay, they don't apply to me, you, or anybody who's a Gentile, because we aren't a part of the supreme race that was created and God loved. Okay.
Well, Jesus said that himself. He said that he brought the new way of being. What did he call it? The
The nice way.
the new type of commandments. Not commandments even, but he said basically it superseded the old ones, which was the Moses commandments. So
Where
like
you don't have to
he was
kill your
more.
kid.
Yeah.
What Jesus brought was inclusive. He brought inclusive. He said that it didn't just apply to Jews; it applied to everybody.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the old ways when it came to the Jews was that Gentiles were excluded from being allowed into heaven because we weren't the chosen people.
So retarded.
Okay.
Okay,
Well, in this, which Jewish philosophy specifically?
and all of it except for the Noahide laws
Uh,
in the Old Testament.
uh,
Everything that applies in the Old Testament applies to just the Jewish people.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah. Back asswards.
and
Sure.
and
Well, I
that,
kind of feel sorry for them in a way because they seem like the most propagandized, mind-controlled people on the planet.
Twisted, yeah.
I disagree with that.
Wow.
Countries.
He-
It's
It's
just like
funny.
they've had this
terrible
stuff drummed into
complexes.
them from like day one.
Right.
well,
for
let me
thousands of
let
years,
me also
you know?
let me I've done research here, and let me also point something else out about the Gentiles that aren't so nice. Now, whenever the Jews were expelled from Judea and from the Middle East, and it was ruled by the Romans.
Yeah.
They were expelled and they were no longer allowed to return back to their homeland. But at some point, they tried to make it out like the Romans were trying to erase the Jewish belief that they were ever there. And I found out that later that wasn't the case. Okay, what happened is this kind of belief got started like 400 or 500 years after the Jews were expelled from Judea.
Yeah.
And the name was taken off and replaced by another name because that was the way the Romans did things. Okay, it wasn't because they were trying to erase the Jews from history. Okay, and this is something that's been passed on by Gentiles, not Jews. They've been pushing that lie for years and years and years, saying that that the Romans were trying to erase them from all history of ever being in the Middle East, and that's just not the truth. And it was started because of Catholics, particularly the Jesuits. No, not the
Wow.
Jesuits. The Jesuits were actually the ones who wanted to kill the Jews.
Mm. Yeah.
So you got to be
Well,
careful.
remember that the Hebrew Bible says they were expelled from the Holy Land because of their idolatry, child sacrifice, and other sinful actions, which led to their exile into Babylon.
Right.
According to the
Yeah, but
Bible,
it's like,
You're talking about the exile. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
revolution that was overthrown by the Romans, and then they were exiled from the Middle East. The last one.
when was that? That would have been like Jesus' time, wouldn't it?
It was
That was
after.
during the
later.
Jewish revolt time,
It was after.
like 70 AD kind of time.
Well, maybe 120 AD, maybe around there.
Yeah. Yeah. The
But that's
beginning
when
stuff.
that's when the Kabbalah and everything else was introduced.
Well, didn't they revolt in Jerusalem, and that's why the Romans
Yes.
tried to quell the rebellion, kind of thing?
Well, they did
Isn't
quell
that-
the rebellion, and they
Yeah,
exiled Jews from from the Middle East. They
Okay, I didn't know that part.
but see, the whole thing of it is rumors started to follow 200-300 years after that. People started writing that the Romans were trying to erase all records of the Jews ever being in the Middle East, and that's not how it played out at all. Like, there's no indication that is true whatsoever.
Okay.
They're going off of, yeah. That's what it basically was. It was just propaganda, and it was actually, if you want to get technical about it, Judea was the kingdom that was actually more God oriented than Israel. Israel was the reason why Babylon was taken, why Babylon took them into captivity, because Israel was, they were idolaters, they false idols and stuff of that nature, and whereas Judea was the southern part that actually did worship correctly the way the Jews wanted them to worship. So when you look at it from that perspective, you have to ask yourself, why was it that these people wanted to name it Israel instead of Judea?
Hey, check this out, guys. I was right. The first Jewish-Roman War, 70 AD, 66 to 73 AD.
Yeah. But there was a couple of conflicts after.
Oh, yeah, it happened over a period of time.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying, why did they want to call it Israel?
Yeah,
I read that it was because of Isis, Ra, and Elohim, like a combination of those.
Yeah. It's,
you got to stop listening to Jaffe.
I didn't get that from
No,
Jaffe.
I read this like 20 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a long time. Been out for a while.
Israel was actually the name of a kingdom. It was split in two. The northern part was Israel. The southern part was Judea.
Okay.
Now, Judea was the religious part, the one that actually believed in the Jewish beliefs. Israel.
What time are we talking about?
We're talking about before the revolution.
Can you source that?
So,
Just curious.
Well,
1 BC, 1 AD.
Yeah. What was his name? I believe was Omri was the guy who actually established the Israel.
It says here Israel comes from the Hebrew word Yishrael, which means he that striveth with God. Symbolic proper name conferred on Jacob, blah, blah, blah. He fought and contended with God. So that's kind of different from striving with God.
A little
he
bit,
fought
yeah.
with God.
Typical. That's very typical, though.
Wow. So that is kind of like anti-God, isn't it?
A little bit.
That's not-
Kind of going in that direction.
No, right. right here is the image link for Omri, his coin that I found on there. If you guys want to check it out, but he was King Omri, and according to the Hebrew Bible, he was the sixth king of Israel. He was successful. He was a successful military campaigner who extended the northern kingdom of Israel, which that would be actually Israel. The southern kingdom was Judea. And he was the one who was the guy that was the mover and shaker when it came to the northern part, which was Israel. And he was actually he could have been an Amorite.
Okay, yeah.
There's something that stuck out to me that was really weird, because it's like we talk about the Sumerians, but he actually constructed Samaria, okay, which was the capital of Israel during that time period. And I find that kind of odd that he named it Samaria, and he established.
What area would that be modern day? Where would that be modern day?
That would be up in the northern part. I would
in
say
the hilly, in mountainous, in the come up with
it's within the west.
But yeah.
It's within the West Bank.
Okay. Oh yeah.
And what I find odd about that is the fact that they never included these people into their 12 tribes, or wasn't it the 12 tribes?
You 13. Yeah. So I'm thinking
it's the region known as to the Palestinians under Simara, Mount Nablus.
Is the kingdom of Samaria, and it was founded by King Omri. The dynasty rule ended with the murder of Jehoram of Israel by Jehu in 841 BC.
That was a bit suspicious, though, because like the guy that was meant to be supporting him to be king went into Zimri went into the royal palace, set it on fire, killing himself. And then not everyone was sure whether they wanted Omri to be king. The people of Israel were split on whom to support. Half of them rallied to Omri, but the other half preferred Tibni. So it's almost like he took power after this guy mysteriously died in the temple on fire. You know what I mean? I think that's a bit suspicious.
Yeah.
And see, the thing of it is this is mentioned on the Misha Stele, which does a complete circle where you have these Jesuits, these Catholics who want to clump the Canaanites in with freaking the worship of Moloch, and their evidence is the Misha Stele, okay? And the Misha Stele doesn't mention sacrificing babies; it just mentions slaughtering people, because it's called it's war sacrifices is what it is. Back then, and everybody in that region did it, even the Canaanites. When you went in and you battled somebody, it was in order for you to appease your God, you had to murder everybody there.
What? How do you spell it? Misha, Misha,
Mesha, I believe, and Stele.
Okay.
You know how to spell Stele?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it.
And this is what I brought up, and I believe it was the first episode of Untethered. It might have been after that, but I brought that up because I'm getting tired of people talking about Moloch like he actually existed when it was just a load of shit. You know what I mean? Like, I get so pissed off at freaking religious psychopaths who freaking claim they're Christians, but then they perpetuate hate and murder, and they think
What?
that's okay.
Right.
I don't know. I don't get what you mean by existed. What do you mean?
Like he existed.
Like,
It was a
some deity or something? Yeah.
no. He was. People didn't even worship a freaking Moloch, dude, at all. It
Oh,
was
come on. Of course, some
Hang
people
on,
did.
there are
Hmm.
yeah, there are sects that do, but yeah, it's
no.
their
Even
own
today,
interpretation
there's still
of
people
it.
that do.
They found initials MLK on freaking toe fits, and Christians took that and subverted it and made it out to where it was a deity by the name of Moloch, because MLK means Moloch.
Okay.
MOON MOON means Moloch ball. You know, retards basically. That's what these people are. You know,
I don't know.
if you want to talk about the deity that actually was supposed to sacrifice babies, then talk about what was his name? I had it on top of my head. It starts with a T. Tanis. Tanit.
So,
He was the one that freaking did that. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You know what he was? He was actually a part of the Phoenician slash Greek slash Romans belief system.
that's okay. Yeah, I think I would.
Okay, he was the
Yeah.
So
Phoenician.
you're saying they called it something else?
Yeah, he was the Phoenician version of Hercules.
Yeah.
Okay, this
What was
wasn't.
the name of it?
He was called Tanith or Tanit.
Wasn't there a city named that? Tanith. I haven't heard of that.
No, I'm gonna have to freaking figure out how to properly pronounce that.
Just kind of
oh, wait.
Greek.
I think I spelled it wrong.
But
Tanit.
Tanith.
Tanit. TAN.
Oh, Tanith.
Tanit.
Carthaginian.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
Carthaginian people freaking came.
Oh, I mean,
See, with them, they worship the Phoenician beliefs also, as well as beliefs that came from Crete. None of this came from the Levant whatsoever.
Crete.
Yeah.
You've never heard of Crete?
Yeah, interesting.
these more.
No, I always thought the Crete people and the what was the others? I thought they were like descendants of the sea peoples.
Actually, that's not
Possibly.
I've got some
maybe.
stuff on that too. When you hear me talking about the what are they, the Phrygians?
Yeah.
Okay, that was one of the peoples that was involved with the mysterious sea people. That's a cool topic, because I've been getting into the Magna Mater, and the Magna Mater is actually drawn off of a black stone that they brought from Phoenicia. Okay,
Magnometer.
Magna Mater.
How do you
Magna, Magna, and then Mater.
Okay. Seibel? Has it got something to do with Seibel?
Well, they're
Is it Sybil?
Oh, Magna Mater?
No.
yeah, Magna Mater. Yes,
Is
Magna.
it Sybil? I thought it was
Yeah.
an S.
I've heard of this before. The Sibylline mysteries and
Yes,
stuff like
the
that.
Sibylline, yeah, like prophecy or whatever it was.
Now this
Yeah.
gets the Magna Mater, though, is drawn off of a stone that was supposed to represent Cybele. Okay, and they brought it from freaking Anatolia to Rome. All right. Now this black stone, I from what I'm gathering, and I don't know, I could be wrong. I'm most likely am, but what if this black stone came from Egypt? Okay, and
Okay.
it was brought back to Anatolia because after the invasion of the mysterious sea people, that's when Egypt went into its decline.
Yeah. So, that was during what's his name? Ramses or something like that, his time.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other part of it, right? I actually read some of the descriptions of the sea peoples from the Egyptians, and it was later on translated. And they mentioned that it came in different, many different waves of sea peoples came from the Atlantic. So some people believe that they were like Atlantean descendants that were migrating people because there's like a lot of these cultures that they ended up migrating into. One of them is in Spain, the Basque people, and it's like a language isolate over there that doesn't seem to come from anywhere. The Minoans, the Phoenicians, and one of them actually was like the word was something like Denaju, and I believe that was actually the tribe of Dan, right? Which later became the Vikings, and they
Yeah.
sailed all the way up into like Scandinavia, and they named everything after themselves, including Denmark, the river
Yeah.
Danube, and like they even had a city of Dan, I think, where Lebanon was at some point, and yeah, I find it interesting that. And here's another thing on the black stone that I kind of postulate is I found out that there's these Egyptian mines in Israel. I actually went on Google Earth and I found these mines that goes back like, many thousands of years BC. And I believe, well, I won't say I believe, I postulate that they found like this type of uranium type stone in there, and it had some kind of energetic qualities to it, and they brought it back to Egypt, and I think they put it inside the pyramids, and it had some kind of like spiritual significance to them. And then
Don't tell
later
me.
on, that's what they probably carried in the Ark of the Covenant. And
Don't tell
later
me
on, it
that,
got
that
broken up.
this Blackstone
I
is
think it
an
got broken up.
alien. It's an alien technology.
Well,
Well, I don't know.
meteor.
It could be, or it could be something they mined out of the earth, but it could be alien tech. Who knows?
It could
But
be a
the
meteor.
point is, there are these stories that this Holy Grail type situation was carried throughout different places and hidden by kings and queens and seeked out by armies, and they eventually like split it apart. Some and royal families got it around the world. Some of it ended up in Mecca, and some of it ended up in like staffs and stuff like that of kings and queens, and yeah. So anyway,
So
it's an interesting theory.
the stone of Magnomator, let me point this out too. It is actually it went missing. Okay. Now, when you read about Magnomator and you hear about what it's supposed to represent, what are they? Chastity. Okay. You're muted, Sonia. She's sitting there talking. She's muted now. Oh, okay. She's probably talking to somebody else.
Okay, yeah. Phone.
But
what's
chastity,
happening? Yeah.
chastity is what they chastity is what this is supposed to do. And when you look at the Black Madonna, okay, the Black Madonna, freaking nobody really knows what it means, okay, whatsoever. And then you look at the word chastity, and you think of ancient magic, okay, and you understand like what magicians thought when it came to chastising spirits, okay. When you chastise a spirit, you're taking control, okay. You're commanding that spirit, all right, and it's kind of
But
like
that's a different word from chastity, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, a
Chastity is
word
more like
when you're
abstinence.
now think about it.
word can be used for multiple
Think about it.
purposes.
You guys aren't thinking about sex magic. Okay, sex magic isn't just having sex; it's also holding back on sex too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's Well, that's why monks and priests have like abstained from sexual activity. It's in Hinduism they do it as well, where it's
Yeah.
meant to concentrate your Kundalini energy.
And it all comes back to Buddha sitting in the lotus position.
Okay.
Think about it.
And
Kundalini.
yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. But the part you forgot to mention though with the stone is that it was a black sacred stone that was believed to have fallen from the heavens, representing the Phrygian mother goddess Magna Mater, also known as Cybele. So there's this connection between Cybele, the heavens, and this fallen black object, which is exactly the same thing they say about the Kaaba stone, which is the black stone in Mecca. So this all
Okay.
adds up. There's something going on here. We're
So
onto
yeah,
something.
they're
I like it.
meteorites. They're meteorites.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah. That'd be
yeah.
logical.
Well, here's the thing, right? The stone that went into the Ark of the Covenant that Moses was meant to have written on, right, from God on the mountain of Sinai, was also like meant to have come from the heavens, right? And it had this magical power or something like that in these tablets in the Ark of the Covenant. It was meant to like basically give people radiation poisoning if you didn't carry like the right type of vest on and stuff like that.
Right.
It was meant to have like been able to decimate armies, put you in contact with the gods, all sorts of stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's interesting to me that even now the people in Mecca believe this kind of thing where you have to like circle the stone of Mecca many times and then point at it,
Yeah,
and the
I've
energy
heard that
from
one.
it would, like give you, I don't know, emancipation or something like that. It's,
See what happens when
there's some strange going on here for sure.
see what happens when you meet Mr. Robot. He becomes really, really excited, and he loves it.
Well, my spidey senses are tingling when we get onto a good mystery.
That's why I wanted you to freaking meet Sonya, because I mean, it's like I don't think Sonya is gonna ever meet somebody like you. To be honest, you you go like
You're
500.
rad, man.
He does.
Yeah, you're making me like robots, man. You're redeeming the whole robot thing for me.
I just wish I could collect all this information and present it in a way that's like there to be able to digest it. There's so much of it. It's hard to actually
Do you
communicate.
do this
kind
in
of
your
stuff.
videos? Like on Rumble? Do you do this on your Rumble channel?
Not yet. I want to
Okay.
do my deep dive research ones where I actually take a long periods of time and read through text with people, because a lot of people don't want to read ancient
Yeah.
text by themselves,
Yeah, for
So I
sure.
kind of want to just like do long form reading of
That'd
text,
be a
doing
great-
analysis
that'd
on
be a
it,
great
telling
idea.
people how I do.
You can add your
Yeah.
own commentary to that as well. Yeah.
Now
Personally.
when I first met Mr. Robot, we were talking about ancient Egypt, and I made a mistake, but the only reason why I made a mistake off of it was because I was reading the original translation that was done early when it came to the Amtuat, the Book of the Dead for the Egyptians, basically, and the original translation came out to mention what was it, Petra, and that was a misinterpretation, which was later changed with archaeology, and that's how I met Mr. Robot, because I said that in chat, and he corrected me on it, and I checked it out, and sure as shit, he was right. And from that day on, he has bugged the hell out of me ever since.
Oh, wow. That must have been a long time ago, back in the mines days.
Yeah, it was like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
2-3 years ago. That was
Man, we've had some good chats on here. I've enjoyed it a lot.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
There's not many people that dive into stuff this much. I like it.
Now, Mr. Edworthy, he's been an interesting challenge, because like
Here soon. Oh,
Mm.
oops, sorry.
I ended up I ended up talking about what was it? It was well, we were just talking about it a little while ago. It was
Which subject?
Shakespeare.
Okay. Yeah, that was last year. Yeah, year before now.
Yeah,
2
year
years ago. Yeah.
and freaking Mark Edworthy, whenever I first met him, was like, "Oh no, we ain't going there. That's just preposterous nonsense." Him and Tan both, and
Well, whoever it was.
I finally convinced him to actually just sit and talk with me about it, and we actually had a pretty good show about it because I showed him how there are now like Shakespeare worshippers who believe that they need to go to church and pray for Shakespeare.
So,
You know,
Wow.
and so that's where that all began. Now all of a sudden he's going on shows like Nancy Planetta's Vixen's Vault.
Right?
oh, yeah, I'm fairly busy in the week.
But you do it.
Three shows.
Mhm.
Well,
I
Well,
was shocked to see you there.
actually, 3 shows is a good sort of. Yeah, doing 3 shows. Neoki's and Jaffe's. Yeah, because times of when they're on was just too much.
yeah. Well, for you, like Naroki, for me, when I have to go on his shows, it's like 10:30 at night, and I know that
Well, it's 4 a.m. my time.
that's what I was getting ready to say. It's got to be like 4:30. So
Man,
Warm up.
I feel so blessed. I got to travel this part of the world, and I got to go see all these ancient temples for myself in like Rome and like all around the Mediterranean. And I got to see like the
Really?
Temple of Apollo and Dionysus and all this stuff. I actually got to go touch the stones where the altars were and all this stuff. It was
What
so
was that
cool.
energy like? Was it crazy or what?
Very interesting, very interesting. Especially some of the temples that had like flowing water, like they
Right.
claimed it was like healing water and stuff like that in those
Mhm.
days. The
Wow.
the
That's cool.
what are those white rivers up on the mountains in Turkey? What are
How much of Europe have you done?
Sorry?
How
much
much of Europe have you travelled?
Oh, quite a bit. I got to travel all around Europe when I was like in my early 20s. Probably 13 countries or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I got one of those Eurail passes, and you can basically just get on a train and go anywhere you want. So I went to like a new country every few days. It was so cool.
he's
Europe
rich.
was awesome.
Well,
Yeah,
was
world
working.
traveler. You know?
Mr. Robot is rich, dude. Like he showed us a video where he was standing on a mountain watching a volcano erupt, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dead serious.
That's how I lost my drone.
So
I was actually tripping on acid flying my drone, and then I flew it into a volcano and it went off.
yeah,
You're like, where the hell did it go, man?
that was what he was making reference to in our last episode. Whenever we were talking, like
Okay.
he didn't bother to tell you that there was a freaking volcano that was just a little ways off in the distance erupting. You know what I mean? So I figured I would point.
Yeah, I'll show you the video one day. It's pretty crazy.
Well, if you do
Yeah.
that, then you'll have to let everybody know your identity. So you're going to have to do that off screen.
Well, that's true. I'll do it in private.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Because we've been good about hiding your secret identity from
That's so secret. Oh my God. It's alluring.
well, you just don't want to.
Beautiful
You don't want to
voice.
dox people these days. You'll get killed.
Fair
Well,
enough.
Dog Fart. I lovingly call him Dog Fart from Infinite Imaginarium. He goes by Doggo, but he he actually thought that you were the dude that played on that movie you like so much. What was his name again?
Elliot Alderson,
No, it was the one that has
Mr. Robot. Oh,
the one that
which
goes
one?
by Mr. Robot. He freaking has that weird Arab kind of name to him.
Oh, like the actual actor's name or the character's name?
The character's name or the actor, one of the two. I
Well,
don't.
the character's name is Elliot Alderson, but his real name is, I'll find out.
You always
I love
use
your browser theme, man. That's super cool.
them in your.
I did that up myself.
I'm not surprised.
You always use it in your in your in your videos.
Rami Malek is his name.
Yeah, Rami
He
Malek.
was in a cool movie recently called Amateurs or something like that. Have you seen that? It's
No.
pretty good. He plays like a rogue intelligence officer that joins the CIA or something like that. It's pretty trippy. He's also like a hacker.
But yeah, Dargo thought that you were or him, Rami Malek, I guess is what it is. And
I am. That is my alter ego.
now, okay, yeah. Now that we got you here, let's dig up the dirt, dude. What is your obsession with this guy like? Because like you always show.
Well,
do you
basically, I just like kind of like think of him as like a modern day iconographic hero in the sense that he's like one man taking on the system and has a unique set of skills to be able to disrupt and basically change things. But in the movie, he thinks it's for the better, but it turns out for the worse. So, in a way, it's like kind of has to remind you to stay humble at the same time. Like we don't know everything, and we can only do our best. So, yeah, and of course, I like the hacking side of things. I'm a bit obsessed with that.
Oh yeah, of course you are. But I wanted to definitely get that because that was something that I've been wanting to ask you about for a while, but I haven't really had a chance to get around to or doing it. I have a really bad memory. Like if
You've seen the series though, right?
No, I really.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, at all.
Oh, he's basically like a hacker. He works for a cybersecurity firm, like in his day life, but in his nightlife, he's like alter ego, Mr. Robot, and he like hacks, and he basically gets into like cahoots with this other group of hackers that like aim to take down the financial system, and they like go through these like convoluted, amazing ways to actually like hack into their systems and bring their systems down, and it all is real. Like
how
show,
realistic it is.
all their
There's
attacks and
sort
everything.
of Hollywood sort of hacking scenes which are always laughable.
Well,
yeah, but this is the first time when they actually nailed it. They did the research and like that, all the hacks and all the exploits and everything is real. So like that's what I liked about it.
I love the movie Hacker, dude. Except for by that time, well, I was okay with Angelina Jolie until like she got older and started doing like Playboy with hair under her freaking pits.
Of course.
She did that crap, and it was like her and Madonna did that shit. What's the deal with that? Like, if
so
you're
masculine, oh my god.
I'm like, come on, dude.
Hackers, I still watch Hackers from time to time. It's such a cult classic movie. I love it.
In years, decades.
Do you know how many people still use freaking what's his name off of Hackers? He oh my god, he was one of the kids, and you know how they all had their cool hacker names. this guy,
Zero cool.
zero cool. You know how many people on the internet still uses his freaking name, and then the other one too.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
You mess with the best, you die like the best.
Fuck around and find out. Huh?
They still do it. So we got some backup or background information about Mr. Robot. If you guys want to find his music, you can find it on Hacker Radio, and that
What?
is on Rumble. Hacker Radio. He goes by Mr. Robot, aka Illuminati. Now we play a
Yeah,
lot.
come along, folks. Live parties sometimes, and
Okay, you
I
need
will get into interviews later on, but at the moment, I just enjoy the party.
you need to let me solicit for you because I do a better job. Okay,
Oh,
Fair enough.
because
He's a
when
pro
you
solicitor.
when you do it, you kind of like mess it up, dude. Like,
well, I don't know why you're singling me out. Why don't you solicit everyone else too?
dude, hold up. Let me point something out to you. I'm putting your music on my streams, okay, for a reason. I'm trying to get word out that you're out there, okay?
I just wish you could use my good music. Like, we need to make some more, so we're gonna get some new stuff happening.
I've got actually 4 of them that are 15-minute blocks. I gotta take and delete one of them because I put the one that is banned in Russia on it, and every time I put that on the internet, I have to
You got content block.
Well, it says that it's partially blocked in some countries,
Okay.
and then when I click on it, it says blocked in Russia. So,
Okay.
Why are you in Russia? Start with.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Robot's music is so hardcore they block him in Russia.
Right.
That's right.
Wow. Can I have your autograph?
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is why I stay anonymous so I can go to Russia still. Otherwise, Putin would kick me out.
Well, I think you stole that song from your drunk Russian friend that you used to have in India, and now he's pissed off at you and getting revenge on you. You remember the drunk Russian dude, don't you?
What the podcast sort of concept? Everybody.
I know a lot of drunk Russian dudes. So it's hard to...
He was the guy that we would
anti-food. That's right.
he was the guy that we would talk to, and when Mr. Robot had him in his apartment in India, he was always drunk and put his face into the speaker because he thought that he had to speak into the speaker in order for us to hear him. He didn't realize that wasn't the microphone. Remember?
That's right.
Now do you remember?
The poor guy, he crashed his scooter in India and broke his collarbone. He got too high one night and drunk. I think he blamed it on me.
It probably was you. You were probably right there with him.
On the right
You're
scooter,
right.
sure.
So,
Funny.
so how does it feel to actually be home now, though? When you look back at all
Ah,
that,
so really good, really good. But at the same time, I miss being abroad just purely because it's so much cheaper to live in like India or
abroad?
Nepal or Thailand or something like that.
Mm.
Like for the
You-
same
you-
amount
you
of money I pay per week here, I can live for a month there. So like, I literally could just save up like 10 grand and go live there for like a year or two, you know.
this time you're
It's
gonna
only
do
So I
really
do miss-
cost of but again, different countries will have different visa rules.
and you should
So-
do it
Yeah.
legally this time. Don't go sneaking across borders because
Yeah.
last time
I
they
didn't
be
sneak across the
illegal.
border and my passport ran out, and then I couldn't leave.
Oh, shit. So that would make sense with what's going on with Jaffe right now in Korea. Is his visa expired and now he's having to go through the same shit you're going through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
My visa was about to expire, so I was going to leave, but I couldn't leave because I didn't realize my passport expired. So, like in India, it takes like a whole 3 months or 2 months to get a new passport
Okay.
through the normal system.
Can you
So
still
I
get
ended
a
up
passport at
overstaying, and then
Walmart? I mean,
Well,
Walgreens.
how long did you overstay for? What the period?
6 months.
Serious
Okay.
question.
6 months.
hey, did you just hear what she just asked?
Can you still get a passport at
No.
Walgreens or like a
don't-
drugstore?
I've
I
never
don't
been to
know.
Walgreens.
US
Like the corner drugstore used to be able to go down and pay like $8 and get a passport.
You
Can't do that
used
no
to
more.
be able to do it.
Even if you could, I don't
Oh,
think it would pass scrutiny anymore. Like all that stuff is on the system now. They scan it and stuff, don't they?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's all bio. Well, most countries is bio.
Fuck that.
Mm.
I'm
just saying.
too poor,
Well-
dude. I've never even dreamed of getting a passport. Like,
So gay.
The worst country is the US. apparently.
I think
I've
I've
been
left my last one lapsed for now 15 years,
Man.
20 years.
I've been on an airplane 3 times in my entire life, dude. And one time was to go to my grandparents' funeral, and that was paid for by my uncle.
The,
I'm
the
poor.
American border, like through the airport, is the most insane thing I've ever experienced anywhere in the world. Like you have to give your fingerprints. They made me open up my bank account and show them how much money I had.
What?
All this stuff, man. Like
Wow.
I've never experienced scrutiny like that before. Yeah,
about
you
driving?
can just like cruise over the southern border without a passport at the same time.
Well, don't
Right.
do it now.
but-
Don't do it now. You know what they're doing, don't you?
Hmm.
They're doing anal probes.
Yeah, they've locked it down now.
Whatever.
They
Well,
are.
like drone strikes.
You might as well be.
TS officers therefore.
My daughter went to Mexico and she didn't have a passport or anything.
She's lucky though.
Did you guys see like the new thing now
She
is
drove.
like they've started this new border policy where guess what? You can bloody keep your shoes on now when you go through airports. Like,
I wonder why.
thank you, Trump. Keep your shoes on. But they don't tell you it's because they Wi-Fi scan your whole body now. Like they can see your dick, like if they want to, you know what I mean?
Well,
Right.
So
I mean, sitting around all day, freaking smelling stinky feet, just doesn't even sound. that just does not sound appealing whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ah,
That's like a freaking person that has to, collect all the jock straps in a freaking.
But remember, all this came about because why? Because of the war on terror that ended up being fake, created by the CIA. So this is all fucking bullshit, guys. Like, they literally just fabricated this whole terrorism thing, and now everyone needs to be scrutinized. It's ridiculous. We
mhm.
never used to have to do that stuff. Do you guys remember, like, back in the 90s, 2000s?
Okay, so I've
Airports
got.
were lax that.
You want to start going down this direction? I've got a serious question that I should have asked you in the last stream that we did. I want all of your takes on this. I was telling you about Arpad Boss and the machine that he had for finding dead bodies and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now with that kind of technology, and this I think kind of upset Vicky when I mentioned it, but with that kind of technology, do you think freaking that it would be cool to create a fart detector?
Yeah, you've mentioned this a few times now.
I think
I
that
already told you we already have fart detectors. It's called our noses. Why would you need a machine for that?
Oh my god.
I could tell you a cooler technology that's very similar, but like, so they have this drone, right, that has a bass speaker on it, and it creates an ultra low frequency sound wave. And what they do is they take individual elements, right, from the periodic table, and they see what backscatter comes off each of those elements, and they map that on a computer. And then when they fly this drone over anything, they can base down into the earth like something like 5 meters and see exactly what elements are in there. And they've used this stuff to find like treasure, buried treasure in the oceans and like underground and stuff like that. Crazy. The guy who invented it was an Iraqi, and then the US government basically gave him amnesty and brought him over to the US and, like, you know, obviously got his tech, but
Yeah.
still not a public thing.
I think that's kind of cool that freaking they take scientists and bring them to the United States to exploit their technology. I find
Sounds kind
that,
of doesn't.
I find that kind of the American way these days. You know what I'm saying? Like, where would we be without
Operation Paperclip? Need I say more?
I already say, dude. Like, we're on the same freaking level. You know, it's like freaking America is great, dude. You know, I have to always point it out to Mark Edworthy that we are the greatest nation on the face of the planet, dude. Like,
usually, remember the British Empire that stretched 1/3 across the world.
Dude, whatever.
Rule Britannia.
Since the beginning of time, there has never been a nation greater than the United States. All eyes are on.
There's never been a time when there's
Here's
been
the thing:
such
all your best
arrogance
tech was done by
nation.
foreigners, though.
That's what makes America so great. We
shit.
have learned.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened was in the 1800s, we did something called allowing people from China to come over here so that we could exploit them and make them build our railroads.
We've had Chinese.
After that,
Chinese have been used part as the sort of navvy class, as in Irish navvies.
well, let me finish.
In the UK.
When we finally finished using them to make our railroads, we found out that these people have really small fingers. Okay.
Yeah.
So we took them and their little children and we had them build motherboards.
Yeah. True.
What?
And after we did that, we started buying them from really, really cheap freaking sources at really, really low cost. And that is what made us great. We are the greatest.
And China took all of your jobs all away from you. Yeah. That's what makes species
all
great.
all the infrastructure to build this stuff is now in other countries.
Yeah.
And you're starting wars with them.
We don't need that stuff no more. Like, we don't need people working in warehouses.
Yeah, you're so great. Yeah.
And it's
Don't
like
need motherboards.
USA. Yeah, wherever. Again, rule China.
Great country in the world, yeah.
You know, and like when people start talking about this freaking illegal thing and shipping Mexicans back to Mexico, who in this country is going to freaking do the roofing jobs? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, wow.
U.S. citizens. Elon Musk.
Americans are too lazy.
Robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elon Musk's bot.
You will never find an American who
Famous,
actually isn't so lazy that they can't do their own roof. Okay. It just, like, the last time I saw a roof being done, it was actually done by like a horde of Mexicans, and they did a really good job, dude.
Okay.
And like the people that hired them wouldn't even give them or buy them knee pads. You know what I'm saying? They had to get up there with like foam freaking what are those foam freaking
Dollar store.
mattresses, like cut foam mattress.
Oh, yeah.
To put their
Duct tape around.
put their legs on top of it so that the roof doesn't hurt them. But you know what? They still got up there and they did that roof, and they did an excellent job. Had it done within maybe 5-6 hours. But there was like 20 of them. So
I think there's a sort of similar sort of idea about Lithuanians in this country. I think I've heard that sort of being
I've got up on my
described
roof before and
to
fixed it
You
when the
you
shingles blew off in the
cold.
windstorm.
I think
Get up there.
I
Hammer.
encourage people to actually do stuff like that on their own. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because
Took me like 10 minutes or more to get down though once I got up there.
oh yeah,
I was like, oh,
But,
frozen.
but
It
of
was
course, if you suffer from vertigo, don't do it.
and also remember
right. Good
this is
idea. Good
Yeah.
advice.
this is
Yeah.
for people who are watching. Always remember to okay realize that
Safety first.
the ladder is shorter than the freaking roof. Like, don't get on those kind of ladders where you have to freaking have your feet on top and then kind of lift yourself up on the roof. You want a ladder that actually touches the freaking edge of the roof so that you can get up and down without hurting yourself. A lot of people are stupid and they get those painter ladders. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
And
What's wrong with that?
well, when you do that, you have to freaking take your legs and drop them over the side of the roof so that you can touch the ladder. Usually,
It depends on how tall your roof is. If you're living in those sort of single US sort of single floor
in a midget house.
building,
You are you attacking midgets?
Australian is more.
No, not the midgets.
So yeah. If you've got a low roof, then
tell you.
use these ladder.
See, listen to him.
But
He's
don't
like
kill yourself.
he's bad mouthing midgets now. It's like first
Don't
the
let Mark W.
Eskimos.
out.
First the Eskimos. Like I don't know what his problem is with Eskimos. He just and now it's midgets. American
Yeah.
So when it comes to this though, you guys have to understand one thing, okay? America is the great nation on the face of
Remember, the Britain in its modern form has been around for 1,000 years. 1,000 years. Sorry.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Roger. Like, you need to watch this documentary that I just posted up in your chat. The origins of the word America is interesting, right?
I just did that.
In what?
Remember,
I just made a show on that.
America is made of quite a huge amount of people from Britain and Ireland.
America. I already did a episode of my own on that, and it's yes, it is. Huh?
What did you come up with? What did you come up with?
Well, the name could possibly originate from Venezuela, Amara, or Mar.
Okay.
Ma'ar. A lot of people believe. A lot of people believed.
Amara.
A lot of people
I thought
believe.
it came from Spanish.
I know. Let me finish. This is actually interesting.
Okay.
This is actually interesting. This is actually a debate that took place back during the time that America was named. It's a big rabbit hole, and a lot of people have their different opinions about it. Before I say this,
Oh, to be correct, America's.
well, the
Yes.
America, a lot of people believe that Amerigo Vespucci changed his name according to what America was actually named instead of vice versa. Like
So
they,
Spanish.
like he didn't actually name America. America named him.
Okay.
And I actually went and checked this out, and there is words that could have been a part of the Mayan language group. But the only problem with that is that when the Spanish came over to the United States or to America, they literally destroyed all of their freaking root words, and it's the only way you can really draw off of what their language really was is if you use the languages of the surrounding tribes that are down there.
Yeah, which will be some,
So,
will be
so
differences there.
here's the interesting take on that whole theory of the Andean deity link to America is because America was started by Freemasons, right? And they were right into their ancient mythology and stuff like that. And this Andean civilization, the Amaru, is a mythical serpent or dragon, right? And it turns out in the ultimate god of Freemasonry is Lucifer, which in the Bible is described as the great dragon. Okay, so there's that link of like America could literally mean possibly the land or the land of the dragon. So
The plumed
yeah.
serpent. The plumed serpent is what I got from, and the root word that holds the root word that holds that is ma'ar or ma'a, M-A-A or M-A-A-R. Okay. There's a few language groups down there that actually do give the impression that there is some sort of deity that could have been worshipped that comes from reptilians. There's also R-A.
Well, the root word is Khan, which means serpent, and kukul means feathers or plume. So plumed serpent.
You're looking at Kukulkan. I'm looking at America, M-A-R. Okay. Now, hold up. Now the thing about it is R-A talks about a location. That's a root word for a location, and then M-A-A is a root word that would be some kind of a deity or something that's of worship. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Of worship.
Yeah. So like you have Amaru, okay? The key there is M-A-R out of all of that. That's the root word. And that goes according to the
Amar is the beginning of America, and Khan is the end of it. American.
Right.
Which both of them means dragon or serpent.
Right.
Okay.
Now, see, the thing that people have a hard time with is that Kukulkan is worshipped in north of there. You know what I'm saying? They're more. It's more of a northernly area in Mesoamerica where the plumed serpent is worshipped. But if you look at the linguistics,
but serpent mythology is all throughout the whole region.
Exactly. That's what I was getting ready to say. And languages in northern South America, man, it is all over the place. Serpent worship is there. I mean, so there is a good chance.
It's on all those flags, all those symbols, going all the way back to ancient times.
Yeah. I really not.
But yeah, they were often associated with deities or dragons, and also had some kind of cosmic significance. Like here, it's like the Milky Way.
Well, since you have your whole search thing going on, ask them what the root word for MAA means in South America or northern South America. MAA or MAR.
Like Mexico. America.
No, don't use Mesoamerica. Northern South America.
Okay.
And you'll see what I'm talking about. It should give you, if you have a good search engine, it'll give you a
MAA.
Is really important.
It does not have direct root word in northern South America. However, Ma is found in the Maasai language. That's Africa. M-A? Are you sure it's not M-A?
M-A
Or
is M-A-A-R-M-A-M-A-A.
Oh man, that's such a like broad thing. It's in like Mesopotamia, North Africa. It's like such a fundamental word of language as MA, you know. Ma. Even in like South Africa it means mother.
There you
know?
go. Ma'a language in South Sudan.
Okay.
Right there.
Is that what you're talking about? Ma language.
Ma'a language in South Sudan.
Kenya and Tanzania spoken over a million speakers. Several groups have abandoned their languages in favor of Ma language, usually following a period of intensive cultural and economic contact. Among groups have assimilated the Ma peoples, El Molo, who spoke Cushitic languages. Is that like the land of Kush back in the day? Wow.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
That's like big.
But
I still don't get your point though. Where are you going with this?
The root word actually, I actually got it.
Okay.
I actually got it from something. It wasn't a search engine, to be honest with you. That's kind of a horrible way of actually doing it. I've got the notes on it, but I mean, I literally pulled up all of the stuff I had and made a video out of it just here recently. It's on the cut. My new. I think it's on the second episode, and I've got the notes here. I could probably.
Okay,
but yeah, I do recommend you check out that documentary because there's a few different theories on exactly the root words and stuff like that, but they all center around these South American serpent deities, and whether it's Khan or Amaru, and those two words are related somehow. I can't remember exactly how, but yeah.
Okay, but with
because the founding fathers of America wanted to create like a new Atlantis in their sort of mythology.
It's Ma'ara.
And the people of South America believe that they came from Atlantis. Like the Aztecs, for example, believe they came from Atlan, which was the Atlantis theory. Right? There's even a place in Mexico called Atlantis.
It's Ma'ara, M-A-A-R-A, which may encode by it has a spiritual meaning. Okay, this actually comes from it comes from Maya and the Mexico. They have linguistics patterns.
So in Hindu, it's the principal or ruling evil spirit. In Norse mythology, it's a female demon who torments people in their sleep by crouching on their chest and stomach, causing terrifying visions. Zul, it's a Patagonian cavity of a hare or rodent. I don't know. This is not the.
No, I got my information. I got my information from the language families that are known as Arawakan, Caribbean, Tupian, and Chipchan groups. These are all from that area down there. That would be modern day Venezuela, Colombia, and Guyana, and northern Brazil too. So that's where I drew from it, and they all point towards a very strong argument that there was a serpent deity. Not calling it the plume serpent or any of the names that the Mesoamericans called them. You know what I mean? But that there is in their language something that indicates that something was there. You know what I mean? And that's from all of those language groups: the Arawakan, the Caribbean, and the Tupian, as well as the Chimchan.
And a lot of the royal families in South America believed that they were in contact with like serpent gods, and they sort of represented them on Earth, and they had to give sacrifice to these gods and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's pretty trippy, actually.
Now, when it comes to the actual map making too, okay, that's something that you need to pay attention to as well. Like Amerigo Vespucci, okay, he was supposedly supposed to be educated in map making, and he was a sailor, but there's no there's no map that was ever made by Amerigo Vespucci. As a matter of fact, the guy who made the map took his supposed descriptions and created the map of what we call America today, and that was in Europe. Okay, he never once sailed whatsoever. Now the only person who,
Is this the Fury Reese map
yeah,
or a different one?
yeah, no, that this one was the 1500 map, and he actually the descriptions he made, they weren't very precise. They didn't have anything to do with longitude or latitude. He would talk about stupid bullshit like, oh, the land is beautiful and this is something nobody in our world would ever know, just stupid shit like that. And all of a sudden this map maker was able to pinpoint where this was and what it looked like. And the reason for that is the same guy who owned the Maria, who sailed over with Columbus, or actually allowed Columbus to use his boat to sail to the Americas, was the same guy who was on the boat that was discovering that area with freaking Amerigo Vespucci. He's the only one who actually made a map on the journey, okay? But he never got credit for it. It was Amerigo Vespucci.
Okay.
Now that was what I found out about that whole thing. Dejita, he was the guy who landed in Venezuela. He was very brutal to the natives, which they had a common habit of doing. And this is one of the situations where the natives sent the Spaniards running. They were tired of their shit. Ojeda is the guy that you got to talk about, and he never freaking did a map either. He had people who did it for him. Okay. So the person who actually did freaking make a map during that time was, I can get his name here in a minute. Ajito is the one that I'm on right now, but and like I said, I just did this, so it should be on the top of my head. Now, Juan de la Cosa was the guy who actually did the first map of what we call America today, and he didn't call it America, but you spell Juan de la Cosa Juandelacosa.
Okay.
And he was a European explorer who freaking actually allowed Columbus to use his boat to sail to America in the first voyage. That is the man who freaking mapped America.
Okay.
So hopefully I didn't.
What was his name again?
Juan de la Cosa.
Good Spanish. Spanish or Portuguese?
Spanish.
Yeah. And I also want to point out the fact that freaking dipshit was also a freaking, he wasn't even Portuguese, okay? America Vespucci was a freaking Florence aristocrat coming from a rich
Okay.
family. Okay. This shit was purely propaganda, plain and simple.
Oh, French. Okay.
You know, well, yeah, France would be Florence, wouldn't it now?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I found from it. Now, if Vespucci changed his name and stuff, I couldn't say that, but I can tell you one thing: the name and the root words really coincide with the fact that America was named after the plumed serpent. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this reference here.
One day,
And the same word is used throughout South America as well, like Incan, Mayan, you know. So it was widespread word serpent.
yeah. Now,
Incan.
his primary Vespucci's primary legacy came from letters that were circulated in Europe claiming discovery of lands not part of Asia. There is no verifiable evidence that ever worked directly on maps, nor that his written observations were used in the technical sense by Juan de la Cosa. Okay, so none of like he never said anything about longitude and latitude and this shoreline turned to this direction. None of that. Cartography is what they call that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and he never did that in any of his writings.
Okay.
Okay, but yet he ended up getting the name, or he ended up getting recognition, and his name was put on America by a man who freaking did this map in Europe and never once traveled here. So
Juan
basically,
de la Cosa.
yeah, 100 map created by De La Cosa, known as the Map of Juan de la Cosa.
I got the map here.
Okay. That was the first.
Which part of America is that meant to be?
It's accurate.
It's kind of fun.
It's the northern coast of South America and parts of Central America.
Okay, right. So this is coming from the Atlantic,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is that like the coast of Brazil, kind of Mexico and Florida?
I don't know about Florida. No, that might
Like
be.
this would be Panama here, right? And Florida would be here. It'd be like South America, I'm guessing.
Now, if it shows America, that is a big deal. Or if it shows Florida, that's a big deal because Florida was discovered on accident by Ponce de Leon.
Yeah.
So that
this
was
is where you would be coming in if you're crossing the Atlantic for sure. You'd be reaching this area.
Mhm.
So
And
my parents actually did that by themselves.
Odragus, he's coming in on Rumble, and he's the pirate flag up. There you go, Dragus. Get her done, dog. Get her done. Wait, what happened? Our chat turned red.
Interesting. Yeah, I can't imagine the fucking skill that would have gone into these old cartographers, you know. We're so used to GPSs these days.
The man who made that map, okay, is the same man that freaking allowed Columbus to use his ship to sail across the sea, dude. And he was a real sailor.
What gave him a ship?
No, he didn't give it to him. De La Costa didn't give anything to nobody. Okay, he was a sailor.
Told him where to go.
Yeah, no, he allowed him to use it, and then later came over here after he discovered the new land. Now the
Oh, okay.
guy who was given credit for making the first map of America was Waldseemüller. He was a German, Martin Waldseemüller. He was a German map maker. Okay.
Mm.
And he's completely bogus. Don't listen to him. He's a load of shit. This is live
Okay.
with Roger Hanson. This isn't a freaking any kind of a intellectual conversation. I'm just stating the facts. That's horrible. I made.
So it's interesting. It's got the Azores Plateau here. This is the middle of the Atlantic where you would stop by if you're coming from Europe or Africa. You have to stop in the Azores to restock, and then go on from there.
Now,
Some people believe that Atlantis was the Azores Plateau.
another thing I
when
want
the
to
ocean was low.
another thing I want to point out too. Okay, with that map right there. Okay, now Amerigo Vespucci, freaking in his writings, he supposedly mentioned the South Pole, the southern lights of the South Pole. Okay, now how could he know that when people of that time period had absolutely no idea of South Pole? Okay.
Are you sure you're not thinking of the Piri Reis map, which like mapped the South Pole kind of thing?
No. He actually, in his writings, talks about freaking the South Pole. Okay, not the Piri Reis. I understand that everybody always brings them up. That's the popular thing. Okay. Now I'm in his actual writings that freaking Vespucci wrote. He is supposed to mention the South Pole, the lights of the South Pole. Okay. Now, people during that time period would never have
Lights.
even known about the South Pole. Okay. Nobody
What
knew
lights are we talking about?
from
Like
the
Aurora Borealis type.
from the southern hemisphere. It would be the cross star of the cross or the crux. However,
Constellation. Oh, like yeah, Crux.
yeah, crux.
Southern Cross.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wouldn't have any knowledge of that at that time period. Okay. And yet,
Of course they would, man. It's a star constellation. People would have been seeing that since ancient times.
no,
Yeah.
they would have been seeing. They see the northern. Okay.
Okay, so obviously he crossed the equator at some point then. Like,
You know.
yeah.
Well, how was it that he named it, called it out in his writings? Okay. For me, I think that's a forgery from later on in history, is what I'm saying. Because at that time period,
So you're saying he called it out by name, or what?
in the
Did he
writings,
call it something?
in the writings, he straight up called it that. He called it this.
Oh.
Okay, and I find that fishy. I find that maybe a forgery.
Did he say Crux or did he say Southern Cross?
The southern, South Pole, star of the South Pole, or some shit like that.
Star, stars, or star?
I can
Because
probably.
he could have been talking about Venus if he's just talking about a star, right? But you can see Venus in the north as well.
Mhm.
Crux. Let's see how old Crux is. 1814, across. It from the Latin word cross. So it literally means cross. So if they spoke Latin, that's probably a logical name to give it, since it looks like a cross.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
it could just be that he called it what it's looked like, you know.
what I basically said at the ending with my final take on it was this. I said, in light of this, which is the stuff I had talked about, we should revise our understanding of the contributions to early New World cartography. Amerigo Vespucci, though famous and perhaps even crucial to the popular European imagination, did not create the map himself. Ojeda did not contribute to their production in a direct sense. The only one of the three who both explored and documented the geography through actual maps was Juan de la Cosa. Okay, that's what I said.
Well, you know what's interesting is his map and the Piri Reis map shows exactly the same land masses. The
Right.
Piri Reis just shows a little bit more, and like if you turn this De La Cosa map leftwards on its side, it shows the peak of Brazil, Panama, and Florida. And it's the same here. It's just warped a little bit. It's not as precise, but you can see here it's South America, Panama, and Florida kind of area. But the interesting with the Piri Reis map is like they say he didn't actually like he drew upon more ancient maps to draw this. It's an amalgamation of a lot of ancient maps. What's interesting is land masses are above water that don't exist anymore. Like South America is connected to Antarctica, and Antarctica is like a landmass above water. There's like the Bimini Island is still there. Yeah, so there's another island here off the coast, which. So I wonder if this was actually from, like, even before the end of the Ice Age times, or like Ice Age times. You know, could have been that old. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest with you, and nobody will ever know, because the big controversy there was they say that a lot of the depictions of the South Pole in Antarctica was land filler, okay? Because they believe that there had to be mass down there to create balance. But if they say that and they believe that, then they'd also have to say that these map makers understood that the Earth was flat, or not, around instead of flat. You know what I mean? And so they would either have to give up their bullshit to say that that was actually fact, and admit that there were people back then who didn't believe that the Earth was flat, or they would have, to freaking say that it was make believe. You know what I mean? That they only did that, or that they didn't know what the hell they were talking about. Because, like, why would you need land to the south to balance everything if it was flat? You know what I'm saying? That doesn't jive. That doesn't fit.
The thing is though, I mean, I think it's probable that is land filler, because it looks less accurate when you look down there. Like, it kind of looks made up. You know, it's too like regular compared to like up here where it's super detailed. You can see the rivers and stuff. But my point is, like, South America was actually connected to Antarctica at one point. If you can see on my screen here, you can see when the landmass was lower, this stuff was all above water here. And you see this channel where the water comes through, how it's like blown out in one direction. The water flow at some point pushed through there and pushed all this water through there. And you can see it even form this sort of like mountain under the water with the soil that it's pushed. Now, when you look back in ancient times, there's actually a comet just here off the coast called Comet Enki. I actually think it was Comet Enki. I can't remember exactly. In something. But anyway, it hit right here. And the wave from that comet came up and hit Chile. And that's why Chile is like the desert, the Atacama Desert is there now, because the wave hit this coastline and actually like eroded off all of the topsoil here. And that's why it's like desert here and lush everywhere else. It got stopped by this mountain range. But what happened is the wave also hit here where the landmass was thinner, and it actually blew over the landmass and took this area out. So it wasn't connected anymore. But what is kind of interesting is there is this like outpouching here and it's also on the map here. You know, on Piri Reis.
Mhm.
Do you see what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know if you can see my cursor or not.
Well, I mean, it's okay. to see your cursor. Yeah, I can see. Now we actually have like a few minutes left because I got to get ready to simulcast WPRPN.
Okay.
So before we go, I want you guys to give your information so that people know how to find you. Sonia bailed out on us. Freaking the chick.
Okay.
You've already got my
Yeah.
information. I'm on Hack Radio, on Rumble.
Yeah, you gave it earlier.
Well, say it again, man, so that we can hear it and people can say that's cool, dude. We want to reach out to him so that we can have a more serious conversation about the stuff you've been discussing. So go ahead.
Okay, well, if you want to have a more serious conversation with the stuff we're discussing, I recommend coming over on Element and joining either Roger Hanson's channel on Live with Roger Hanson, or you can come join our Mysteries channel, which is the Tinfoil Hat Club, which I will just quickly show you how to get there. This link here, conspiracy theory. So hashtag conspiracy theory. You type that into Element. When you click the little home button, and you click on the explore rooms button, you can just type it in here like hashtag conspiracy theory, and you can join it. You just have enter and join it, I think.
Okay. And how about you, Mr. Edworthy?
Simply, you can find me on minds.com under the username Medworthy.
Okay. Now with me, you can find me on X as Roger Hanson at ROGLOL1973. We have 4 viewers. Thank you guys for finally showing up and giving your support. Sick of nobody talking to me, guys. Now, with that, I'm also on Rumble, and we have 10 viewers. Thank you guys for showing up.
Cool.
Appreciate that. Thank you for commenting.
Have a pint of in my local pub.